understand it. This wasn't the plan. Don't wanna demand it. I've done what I can. And I never mentioned the times you were rude. And I never mentioned when you hid the truth. Scared to lose it all. I won't stand a chance. And I don't wanna fake it. What if I can't walk away? Got me saying away. Hoping I don't make the same mistake. Same mistake. Hoping I don't make the same mistake. I don't like to leave things unresolved. Maybe it's madness. I'm begging you, please pick up the call. You're causing me damage. I should've known, wasn't your fault. Don't even matter. I wasn't thinking clear, trying to take it there. Scared to lose it all. I won't stand a chance. And I don't wanna fake it. What if I can't walk away? You got me standing in the rain. Hoping I don't make the same mistake. Same mistake. Hoping I don't make the same mistake. I'm just standing in the rain, hoping I don't make the same mistake.
Hand out, she holds. It's feeling like we've been here before. We're both so broke. That's something that'll keep us afloat. Don't walk too slow. We can't keep falling deeper again. Came too close and the taste so far from pure. A rush of blood, but we search for so much more. We've all been here before. We've all been here before.
Did you miss us, everybody? We certainly missed you. 2 snow days in the books for the Shenandoah 2025 calendar year, but we're back. Thursday, we skipped 2 days. Sorry about that, but here we are. Hi, everybody. Chris Clayton here with my lovely brother, Kevin Clayton, and we are here to cover our Varsity Smash Bros. Team in their competition against FIU. Should be a great matchup. We'll get into it in a little bit, but how you feeling after a little bit of rest?
Oh, it's been so nice. It's great to get that level of snow here in Winchester. The two of us grew up in Ohio, so we tend to get that a little bit more on occasion than we do here, so felt like we were right back at home. But that doesn't mean that we didn't miss these competitions. I am ready to get back into the swing of things, Chris. I want to see what our teams are up to.
Yeah, if you have been following along with our team's seasons so far, you may have noticed that we were supposed to have a show 2 days ago and a show yesterday, and those did not happen. Well, guess what? Campus closed. We got hit with a lot of snow. So if you take a look on your screen, right, that will reflect what we just told you. Tuesday rescheduled, Wednesday rescheduled. It's been awfully quiet in this arena, but the action is back. It's like 50 degrees outside here today in Winchester, so all of the snow that we just got slammed with and got 2 snow days from is now completely gone, and you wouldn't even know anything about it. But anyway, those matches will be played whenever they will be played. I don't know. They got rescheduled. We will try to bring them to you when we can, but for now, those are off the board. So tonight, Florida FIU International. Thought so, but doubted myself. Florida International, strong matchup for our Smash Bros team. It will be an interesting night because this FIU squad has some heavy hitters, but we're not 100% sure if we'll see them today.
Yeah, it feels as though when you go into these sorts of matchups against a team who has a very solid 50-50 sort of win-loss record, you can't help but feel a little worried. You know, understandably, any wins on either side is going to feel good, but usually when you see win records like that, it's because they have players or characters that tend to be a little bit problematic. It'll be interesting to see how they do this semester up against Shenandoah, who has had a very strong start, a little bit worrying with what we saw the last time with the Smash Bros team, but should be a very interesting match overall.
Yeah, we can talk about it all night about how hot this Smash Bros squad is here at Shenandoah, and on your screen reflects that, right? Starting last week 1-0, not dropping a set, but FIU, on the other hand, did go to set number 3, and I believe that set number 3 went pretty deep. So a tough start to the season for FIU, but a strong team nonetheless, and we expect them to bring it to Shenandoah today. Highlight of last week for Shenandoah was certainly this man on your screen. I mean, if you didn't get to tune into this, this was an all-time moment on this stream. 23 stocks taken for Kipp on the Pac-Man through 2 sets, and I'm no mathematician, but there's only 24 possible stocks to take in a series that only goes to 2 sets. So Kipp knocking it out of the park, absolutely smashing it, and frankly carrying this team last week.
Yeah, if you're asking if Kipp was able to find a chiropractor, I do believe we found someone to help deal with his back problems.
Great.
But frankly, he should still be doing a lot of work going forward, including tonight. It sounds like we may be seeing a good amount of Kipp as often as we like to see him on this desk, because there's so much more than just our favorite starter here at Shenandoah, but also just a very familiar face on the opposing side.
Yeah, I'm not gonna short you all. I do believe we will probably see Kipp, go in first for Shenandoah. That's pretty textbook, right? Nothing insane. But after talking to the players outside, I have received a little bit of insider trading. I'm pretty sure there is a player on the FIU roster that Kipp is actually pretty close with, has been friends with this person for a while now. I won't say how long, I'm not sure, but King Botan, you'll see them soon. They presumably play King DDD. Apparently, Kipp and this player are pretty close and might start the series against each other. I know that was being tossed around. We'll see what happens, but I think we can expect at least Kipp to go in first.
Yeah, that's usually how Shenandoah's strategy goes down almost every time a crew battle situation comes up. It's usually a very hard call out for SU if they try to send in someone different. But with all of that being said, do you send in a plethora of different characters on the opposing side for Florida International, or do you give the friends the matchup that they've been looking for? And frankly, probably the biggest bragging rights you can get, because yeah, you can do this at your local scene, you can do this at your bigger tournaments, stuff like that, but I mean, come on, this is college competition here. You're talking about where you are most of the day. and you're going to get the bragging rights to say, mine is better than yours? That's crazy.
Right. It's the headline of every traditional sport matchup every time it happens. If you get childhood friends that get to go up against each other on the biggest stage, and in this sense, NACE Varsity Premiere is nothing to scoff at. On stream here, we get to broadcast this to the world. It's an awesome opportunity, and I believe we'll hear from him shortly, but it's pretty cool, right? You don't get to play against your, I don't want to say childhood friend, but somebody as skilled as you on the biggest stage available on stream for the world to see. Yeah, bragging rights are on the line.
Well, not only that, I have to say I'm a little curious about that matchup. We're talking about the big penguin versus Pac-Man. I feel like that wouldn't work for that sort of matchup, but if they're close, they have to have matchup experience. I feel like this is going to be some of the higher level of that if we see that to start things off.
Who knows? We should be getting into it here pretty soon, but who better to ask about that matchup than the man himself? I do believe we have Kipp standing idly by with Ben Kincaid out in the arena, so we're going to toss it out to them and see what he thinks about today.
Awesome. Thank you, Chris and Kevin. I am joined by Kipp, a.k.a. our pack god here at SU. First things first, how are you feeling going into today's matchup?
I'm feeling a little nervous because it's just a really good team, right? It's basically the start of some really hard matches to come for our NACE pool, but I think we can still pull through in the end.
No, for sure. This is a tough team with Florida International, so first, let's go a little recap of last week, right? You went 32-8 in total in NECC and NACE. How are you planning or going to try to keep that momentum going into this week?
I'm just going to keep playing the game that my role suggests me to play. Just kind of make whatever kind of lead I can start out for my team, just so I can make him have a much easier time solidifying the lead and just wrapping up the game from there.
No, for sure. Now, we do have some fun stuff here with this team, right? I believe one of your friends is on this team, a DDD player. Are you going to try to match up somewhere in there and try to have a little 3-stock-on-3 stock action with one of your buddies?
That would be pretty fun to go over. I'm not sure we'll actually get to meet each other, in terms of matchups. I'm not sure, but it would be pretty fun to play him.
No, for sure. That would be awesome. A little bragging rights at the end of the day for whoever wins that one out. Yes, exactly. Now, with this team, they have a very strong Mario player, and they also have a Wolf Joker player as well. What is it like going into some of those matchups, and what are you expecting from those players?
For characters like Mario and Wolf, those are some hard matchups for Pac-Man specifically. They have some really good anti-zoning options for Pac-Man specifically. They both have reflectors. They both have really good zoning, boxing options. And they're both just really good players. I believe Dominator is the Mario player, has some really nice wins. He's done really well at some majors. So I feel like those two are probably the best answers for me.
No, for sure. Some tough matchups coming through. Now, we have not played all week. It was mentioned earlier on the desk that we had some snow days here, so we did not have our NECC match on Tuesday, nor were there any practices held for the Smash team. So what is it like now kind of breaking off some of the rust here before this very tough matchup?
That's kind of where the nerves come in, right? So, unfortunately, campus was closed Tuesday and Wednesday, so we couldn't really have much time to prepare as far our actual fingers and whatnot, but we're just going to do whatever we can with what resources we have, because if they're in Florida, I know it's not snowing down there.
Yeah, I don't know if Florida's going to get a whole lot of snow for competition here. So, yeah, hopefully we pull out with an SU win. Good luck, Kyle. Good luck to the rest of the Smash team. Guys, back to you.
Thanks, Ben. It sounds like he's ready for a pretty tough matchup. We started to lead with that a little bit, right? This is a pretty strong team. Their stats, their record so far through 1 week might not reflect that, but we do know that these players are strong, and Shenandoah definitely has their hands full today.
Oh, yeah. Again, we're seeing just how crazy involved SU's players are in this Smash Bros. Scene just as a whole. It feels like every now and then we see either players in chat doing dino dances or just Kipp randomly knowing people in Florida. That's not a short distance. And that really speaks not only to the skill of the players, but just the amount of sort of care in this community for the Smash Bros. Side of things. I'm all for it. I love the fact that players are starting to like really get to know each other at that sort of level across the country. It's great stuff.
It is exciting. Speaks to the character of this team, and we can take a look at this team real quick. I mean, you know them, you love them, right? They're the regulars, the classic, these starting four, and every time we put a graphic like this on stream, I feel the need to mention that name on the bottom, FarRhombus, listed as a sub, but far from it. This is more like a Fluid 5 than any roster at this school. At any moment, FarRhombus could come in and replace just about anybody on your screen and find success depending on the situation and the matchup. It's very exciting to see this team develop.
Oh, yeah. Every single time we see these players, you feel like you have a better understanding of where they want to be in these crew battle settings. From the Yoshi setups, very standard, deal with the heavyweights, kind of take that approach. Same deal with the Falco, yes. And then you have Jigglypuff to sort of capture or take advantage of these situations where someone might not have appropriate answers for dealing with opponents in this awkward spot in the air. Or, same deal, Kipp's Pac-Man, it's one of the only zoners, like true to form zoners in Shenandoah's pockets, and yet every time it feels like it performs, but may not always be necessary. We are starting to see more and more just how many players are starting to pick up more rush-down style approach of characters. For example, Florida International has Mario players, Wolf players, these sorts of characters who are, yes, they've got their projectile to keep you at a distance, but that's not their primary tool. It's used to sort of stuff out an approach and nothing more.
Yeah, and we have a bit of an interesting situation on our hands because so we've sort of teased that Kipp might be matched up against this King Dedede to start the series. I'm not going to confirm anything until we know it for sure, right? It's ultimately up to both teams if they feel like that's best. But something I do know, just on the note of matchups, I was talking to the players outside just a little bit, and specifically AyeJay and the Falco, to be certain, he said that King Dedede is like probably his best matchup on paper. So like if we're being picky, we would rather see AyeJay go in against the King Dedede, but for the sake of theatrics, not theatrics, but bragging rights, right? The situation calls for Kipp to potentially go in. I don't know. These matchups get weird. Both of these teams are going to have to make decisions here tonight. But before we get into the series, I do want to give a little recap for why these teams are even playing, right? We're in a very tough bracket. We can take a look at these standings so far through 1 week. Shenandoah 1-0, FIU 1-0, right? We knew that. We got to see the matchup a little bit earlier, but some of these other teams, right? Randolph-Macon on there, Full Sail on there, having to go up against Shenandoah last week. ODU down there at the bottom of the 1-0 category. Strong teams, strong group that Shenandoah is going to have to claw throughout this season.
Every time, we're talking about these sorts of players who can really make an impact in these sorts of settings, but this is a strong pool for Shenandoah to make their way through. Multiple of these opponents we have already seen in previous semesters, and they have given Shenandoah a run for their money. Old Dominion and James Madison, both, Shawnee State too, have definitely had moments where they can get Shenandoah almost worried, catching them off guard in these sort of awkward situations. So definitely getting as many early wins as you can pay off for situations where you may accidentally get caught so off guard that it could cost you the match.
Yeah, specifically, I want to point out the Old Dominion team as well. That's a team that Shenandoah has had to play both online and on land. Yeah. And those teams, I couldn't tell you the exact, historical series record between those two teams, but if I had to put money down, I would put that it's very close to 50%. Right?
I believe it.
Those teams split very often, and it's because Old Dominion, I'm not going to remember the player's name, but they have a very strong Sonic player that I can tell you we're not looking forward to face, right? That's a tough matchup for this team.
There are some matchups that tend to cause problems for Shenandoah. Yes, the Sonic players tend to get a very solid start for whichever team they're representing, but also, pulling it back to this DDD, Shenandoah has a little bit of experience against that character, and it's not always easy for them. We've seen there's a DDD player who goes to GMU who has caused a lot of problems for Shenandoah's roster in the past, and flexes every single time he gets a stock. Like, you gotta believe the mental damage is insane. But it should be, on paper, a very easy matchup. You're talking about a big body who's able to get strung across the stage, but I don't know. It's crazy. It's weird. It's slightly awkward.
Yeah, and we have a list of matchup preferences for our roster here, and sometimes you see our graphics once we get into game, how our players feel about their specific character into another character. I have Kipp on here on the Pac-Man against King Dedede as a +2, being just about as favorable as it can get, being 3 being the maximum, and going down into negatives if it's not a good matchup. So Kipp certainly feels comfortable, but you're right. We haven't quite seen that level of success, and obviously every player is different. I won't have it in front of me right now, but I'm pretty sure Willy has his Kazuya matchup into Sonic as like a +3 or something ridiculous. And on paper, that makes no sense to me, but that's what he very genuinely feels. So who knows? We'll be able to watch that matchup when it comes, but we are not facing ODU today. We're facing Florida International. I do want to take a quick moment to shout out our Academy Smash team is also competing today, as you saw on the schedule earlier today. They will be live on our YouTube channel, so if you would prefer to watch the Academy squad in their match, go ahead and tune into the YouTube. We should have multiple streams up, so you don't have to miss a single thing.
It's all great stuff.
Yeah.
You want a bit of Smash Bros? You can stay around here. You want a lot of Smash Bros? Feel free to have both streams on at the same time. See what everyone is up to. And see, frankly, some of the more crazier matchups. I do believe the Academy roster has some of the more crazy styled characters where you could see some really explosive, almost clip-worthy moments. But Shenandoah's varsity roster in particular tends to focus on being very exact, trying to stay as consistent as possible, and it's just kind of what makes the difference in a fighting game setting. If you can stay consistent on your character, that is one factor that you don't have to worry about going forward into any given matchup.
Yeah, and I do want to go back real quick, and I did take the time to pull it up while you were in the middle of that. Willy has his Sonic matchup as a 0, so he's just neutral towards Sonic. Now, Riddles, on the other hand, arguably one of, if not the best Kazuya player in the world, has it listed as a -3 absolute nightmare matchup. But I don't know. I mean, it's fun to hear from the players on how they feel about every character in the game. And, you know, again, we'll see that matchup when it happens. We're not expecting to see a Sonic today. So on that note, let's talk about what we are going to see today. This team is pretty deep from what we understand, right? Their roster has about 6 players, plus or minus. But of those 6 players, the names that we feel somewhat comfortable, or the characters, I should say, that we feel somewhat comfortable about in some combination are a Mario, a Wolf/Joker, right, same player, a Sheik, a Pokemon trainer, a DDD, and we don't really know about the last one. We might also see a Lucas or a Falco. Not sure. But so that's on the menu for today.
That's so strange to me, Chris. When we talk about Shenandoah's roster, it's well-rounded because it covers a lot of different bases with different archetypes of character for the most part. This roster is very well-rounded because all of these characters are considered very solid, except for maybe DDD, but like, again, there's an argument to be made there. But like, Mario, Joker, Wolf, Sheik, Pokemon trainer, like 5 characters that are have so many tools ready at any given point to deal with a majority of the matchups. I won't say that they win every matchup, but they definitely have what it takes to sort of bring it back in their favor and try to even the playing field. So I'm curious. I'm hoping we get to see some real big adaptations going between these rounds of crew battle, because suddenly one character that we see the Mario early on, he doesn't like that matchup. Okay, send in the Joker. You got another great tool set ready for you, and we'll save the Mario for someone else.
Yeah, it's going to be weird to see, because again, we can say with almost certainty that we probably will see Kipp go out first, right? I mentioned it earlier. That's kind of become the standard. But if the Mario or the Wolf or the Joker, frankly, comes out first, that is kind of a tough matchup for Kyle, according to Kipp, excuse me. So if that's the case, that's a bit scary. Although, Kipp serves such a unique purpose in this team, and that is to just sort of get an early lead if he can, take stocks aggressively early. If he doesn't get all three, it's not really the end of the world. But nonetheless, right, if that's what we see first, that could be a little bit scary. And then you get into deeper matchups, right? If the DDD comes out first and maybe wins against Kipp, I do know that AyeJay loves the DDD matchup on Falco. So, yeah. we could get into the chess of this, and I'm sure we will over the course of the show, but certainly a lot of pretty fun matchups that are possible for today.
Yeah, you can really just dissect it even more to not only the preferences of, say, this Florida International roster, but also, like you were saying, this Shenandoah roster with AyeJay kind of fiending for this DDD. I mean, I get it. You can really see the potential for a big shakeup in between these rounds, which means on occasion we may see that the roster who wins these games might have to be the one making the call out to start switching their players first, rather than trying to sort of play it safe. Oh, you didn't have an answer for us, we're just going to send them in the same order. No, that's not going to be the simple answer for this time around when both sides are so well-rounded. Take the opportunity to really understand these sorts of matchups, and we could see just about anything. It's going to be these sorts of callouts that may win the crew battle going forward.
Yeah, and that's something we haven't really seen Shenandoah have to do many times, at least in recent memory, right? They usually, and knock on wood, right? We are Shenandoah students. Usually we don't see this team fall behind early or very often at all. And usually it is the losing team that feels the need to try to change up their strategy, like switch up their order, try to dig harder for matchups that they like, or try to force matchups that they like. And Shenandoah has not had to do that very often in the last calendar year, right? So who knows if that's something that Shenandoah might get a little bit uncomfortable with. The last time I can remember them having to switch up their order was in the NECC Chesapeake playoff finals, where they grossly changed up their order and it could not have worked out better for them. So that was really the only one recent example I can think of them having to pretty drastically change up what they're comfortable from. But if nothing else, it's an example of it working.
Yeah. Starting things off, though, I imagine we are going to be seeing Kipp, and I want to acknowledge that while these characters that we've talked about so far, the Mario, Joker, Wolf, Sheik, Pokemon Trainer, all that stuff, while they do have solid projectiles to sort of deal with fire hydrant setup and deal with Kipp charging the different fruit, it's worth noting that they don't excel at distance. Kipp is most likely still going to be able to get these different fruit charged no matter what. It's going to be on them. Do I jump over the fire hydrant? Do I try to remove it? Maybe see how Kipp is trying to react in those sorts of situations? But also, Kipp needs to understand that I can play this game at my pace still. Usually if someone is a strong zoner, then Kipp may have to start adjusting his game plan to what the opponent has going on. But none of these characters tend to control it at that level, besides like maybe Joker.
And something we haven't really had the opportunity to talk about much this semester is also Igloo has a Samus.
Right.
And he, like, before the semester even started, he told me that he feels like the Samus and the Yoshi are just about interchangeable. And that's jarring for how good his Yoshi is to say that Samus is on the same level. So that's something we may see at some point today. But no more speculation from our end. We are into game number 1. 12 stocks, Shenandoah against Florida International University. Week 2 of NACE competition.
Yeah, this Sure Hyper Wolf seems like a very strong choice to start things off. I mean, we're seeing a good amount of buildup on this battlefield against Kipp. But I'm curious if this snowball will continue in Sure Hyper's favor, because Kipp has been getting a little bit of return damage. The percentages were looking even because of it, but we do see Kipp is sent off stage just because of how much pressure Wolf can put on this roster. And Kipp, no stranger to this matchup. Then Staffa last year was definitely giving Kipp the matchup knowledge he needs, but when you have a down smash like that, it is crazy how much value this Wolf may be able to generate early.
Yeah, very strong start for Sure Hyper here on the Wolf, and a situation we don't see Shenandoah in very often, and I say that as we are a pretty spoiled audience. We got to watch Kipp go 23 stocks out of 24 just a few days ago. So Kipp losing his first stock to start this series, not how he wanted to start, I'm sure, but finding his way back in, throwing out some smash attacks. That's something we don't see out of Kipp very often. It's a lot more of these combos, a lot more confirms from his projectiles, but Kipp maybe trying to find a bit of a change-up to the game. That's an interaction to keep an eye out for as well. The reflector on the fire hydrant would probably send that right back to him.
Oh yeah, and on top of that, this Wolf player, Sure Hyper, seems very studied in this matchup, or potentially against Kipp in particular.
Wow.
We do see the key connect for that stock, but we have seen multiple call-outs from Sure Hyper on spot dodges and air dodges from Kipp. Yes, you can play just trying to predict that, but in a crew battle setting, you are able to study players' matchups given you are in a league. And so I'm curious if this Wolf player is starting to pick up on these habits just before the game even truly started and is getting so much value out of it.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure that Igloo told me that Sure Hyper is ranked in the state of Florida. I'm not sure where, but ranked where, but very, very strong player, undeniably, and does find the back air, I believe that was, onto Kipp. So, down 2 stocks, right? Kipp in a bit of an unfamiliar territory, right? For this player, for this team, we find a close matchup to start for the first time this semester, and it's pretty exciting so far.
Yeah, this Wolf player is doing a great job of really keeping the pressure going on Kipp. Again, it could be a combination of not only how this Sure Hyper player is maneuvering around Kipp's options, but also the stage. I feel like Kipp hasn't had the setup space to really get the game plan online, and because of that, yes, we're still seeing fruit charged, bells thrown, but it's not as frequent, and especially when you're dealing with a character like Pac-Man, the more opportunities you have to get a bell off, the better off you are going to feel.
Yeah, and look at how this Wolf is controlling the airspace, too. I feel like every single time Wolf is on stage, he's jumping. Oh, man. Oh, okay, he does still have his jump. Sorry, I got a little bit excited there that Kipp might have been able to sort of gimmick a stock off of him, but nonetheless, 150% on Sure Hyper here, and the hydrant lands off the ledge. Wow! I'm sure Sure Hyper was thinking the same thing as me. That thing will despawn soon, and it just doesn't. So another stock in Kipp's favor, as now both of these players on their last one. Kipp at a significantly higher percent, however.
We're seeing Sure Hyper throw out a lot of back airs at the moment. I mean, just about any of them will be able to take the stock, but if Kipp can sort of maneuver, he might be able to stay around. But the up smash catching Kipp trying to dodge potentially another back air means that the scoop hitbox will be able to take a stock off of the pack of Shenandoah.
Okay, so here we are, right? Kipp going out and doing his job, more or less, right? We get so spoiled watching Kipp go take, again, 23 stocks in a row. You cannot expect that every time, and especially when you get matched up against good teams like FIU. So Kipp going in, taking 2 stocks, right? Certainly not bad at all. FIU now has an opportunity, though, to try to snowball this into more, right? Here's where we get into extra credit territory. Not sure who we might see next for Shenandoah, and we'll let you know as soon as we know, but an interesting situation here for Shenandoah.
Yeah, we're dealing with a player who clearly has great knowledge of this game and great maneuverability. We have seen multiple times where Wolf will stop moving but then go for a jump and catch out the spot dodges, catch out the rolls with potential down smashes in just the right spots. And so you gotta send someone in who's gonna be taking this stock fast or trying to slow down the pace of this Wolf. Either way, it's not an easy response for Shenandoah. You want to take this one stock before you lose anything else, but it might come at the cost of giving Wolf that extra credit just to get him out of the way.
Yeah, this is dangerous territory in a crew battle, right? Usually I'm talking about it from a Shenandoah perspective, in that when Shenandoah has like 1 stock left on a player that needs to be eliminated, that's when they tend to start running away, right? We see the snowball become insurmountable for Shenandoah's opponents. Well, now SU finds themselves on the receiving end of this, right? It's going to be a big moment here, although we are still super early in this series, or in this set, excuse me. This is where teams start to run away.
Yeah, and we were talking about a top-ranked player in Florida. I do think Shenandoah is giving this player the respect that they deserve, because we can see back here the potential characters that are being hovered, and it looks like I saw Terry Bogard selected, which means that we may be seeing Willy enter this battlefield a little sooner than we normally do.
Yeah, this is interesting, because I believe that FIU has 2 very strong ranked players in the state of Florida. And Willy, for those of you who are regulars around this show, regulars around this university, are probably pretty familiar that Willy is usually our anchor, our heaviest hitter, our clutchest performer. So sending Willy out now is a very aggressive decision. And I mean, it certainly looks like that's where we're headed, right? We have a bit of a preview ahead of you all, but we should be getting into our second matchup here soon. And not only will it be Willy, it will be the Terry.
Crazy stuff for this matchup. I mean, an exciting one to say the least. We are seeing a top player in Florida against a top player in the Nova region. This means we are dealing with some of the top players in Smash Bros. Period. Willy starting things off with a couple of power waves, trying to get this Wolf into an awkward spot, and look at the zoning. This character fights with arms and legs and is still covering a lot of space, trying to get a jump call out onto this Wolf. Does start taking a bit of damage. Wolf potentially looking for a forward smash on the platform. Willy able to use the Nair to get out of that situation. Power dunk going a little high. Crack shoot as well. Wolf trying to forward smash the power dunk again. Look at these setups, man. This Wolf player is doing a great job, but the jab into rising tackle will do a significant amount of damage as both players are looking for that final hit.
Yeah, okay, so this has been already through, no stocks have been taken, but through this matchup so far, I feel like we've seen 2 different players out of Willy, right? He started very patient. Wow! What a call out there! The power guys are all the way from the stage, catching the jump and taking care of business. Man, okay, I didn't even get to finish my point. I felt like Willy started so strong and playing patient. It felt like he was already in a rhythm before we even really got to see much. And then before you know it, the Wolf player, Sure Hyper, starts to build some momentum, and it felt like a little bit more aggression started to come out of Willy, almost too much aggression. He got caught biting one too many times, and before you knew it, the percentages evened up. But what happens when percentages even up and they're over 100%? Terry gets 2 new moves, because that's a DLC character. So Power Geyser comes through, stands true, and we are back to a tied series.
I appreciate the idea from Shenandoah of sending Willy in to try and just secure this stock, even things out, and get this superstar player out of the way. It's giving enough respect to these players that you are saying, okay, I will not send in some of these other bridges that we have, other players who generally are the ones who close out these stocks. Usually AyeJay, Igloo, or FarRhombus are the ones who go in trying to connect that bridge, secure that last stock, and keep things going forward. But this time around, the respect was given. We're moving forward on that. And so now, I do think Willy was not expecting that matchup to be that close. We kind of saw it in the face cam a little bit, that he had to take a moment and be like, okay, a little bit dangerous territory. I will continue to give that player that respect. I do think that that was the right call. It's crazy how quickly that Wolf player was able to just sort of lock in, find a couple of good hits, and then snowball that momentum.
Yeah, and I think the team had a similar mentality to what we were talking about back here, right? The last thing that you want to do in a crew battle is let a player in that situation run away with 2-3 more stocks, right? That's how you lose games. It's how you lose series. That's textbook, right? So I agree. I think Shenandoah made a decision that, okay, we are not even going to risk having this Wolf run away with this series. We're going to take care of business now. And what is the response from FIU? Well, it's a Greninja. That is the one player that we weren't quite sure who they played. So an interesting situation here for Shenandoah, right? They did not have this booked, at least as far as I know.
Yeah, this character is definitely a strange one. I feel like we don't see Greninja too often, but I tend to give the character a little bit more value than I usually give Sheik. And it's just by nature of how some of these down tilt up smash combos Greninja has can really get the momentum going. But I do think that this neutral game may be the difficult part for this Greninja. You're talking about Terry Bogard here, but when you can grab on reaction like that, what in the world? We saw an amazing performance from the Greninja, but it did end up with them getting hit by a grab or a jab rising tackle. Willy able to secure the stock on the small battlefield means that it will all fall into place to start things off, and we are not even at go percent yet, Chris.
Wow. Yeah, okay, so mental note for Chris Clayton. Greninja's horizontal grab range is hilarious. But point taken, all right, we move on. So Terry, still 3 stocks, right? An aggressive call out there from Willy, but not much of a response from Santi. Jab still lands, not much of a combo there, but look at the spacing as well. This Greninja has done a lot of running away, a lot of throwing shurikens, and it's racking up percentage. The scary thing about dealing with Terry, though, is that the higher percentage you get him, he becomes more of a threat, right? Willy now has those 2 extra moves we talked about last series, and we might see one here soon, Kev.
Yeah, we did see a moment there where this Greninja player was trying to get Willy to lose the stock before the go percent connected. A lot of smash attacks were thrown out, but because it was so close to the center of the stage, Willy guarantees the go percent and does not go down, getting now a down smash to connect to secure another stock off of Santi, but it does not go without Willy losing a stock of his own. We see both players starting to get a couple of good hits, but Greninja, once again, sort of dashing around Terry's game plan, trying to get these dash attacks to start things off. That was a very good parry by Willy to sort of keep the momentum in his favor, as now Greninja's off stage, sitting at 86.
Yeah, this has been really interesting so far because, yeah, Santi has done a lot of, what am I trying to say, zone control, I guess, right? Throwing a lot of projectiles and not stringing together many combos, right? Whereas Willy has been the exact opposite. You're landing 4 hits in a row and racking up percentage that way. The rising tackle misses, man, that could have been bad if Willy was launched off stage, but not quite yet, right? We haven't seen Greninja be able to really string together combos that find kills, right? We saw the down smash. Oh, wow, the dash attack just kills off the top, and Willy takes out another player, lost only 1 stock in the process. So, Shenandoah, moving, grooving, how you doing? Keep it moving. We're going to player number 3 for FIU.
And this is exactly what you want if you're in Shenandoah's shoes. You want to start bringing that momentum back. The stock count had evened up. We were expecting to see a 3-2 sort of situation where Willy may have been left with either 1 stock or taken out. Instead, he did a great job of playing around that Greninja's game plan, making sure that these sort of stray shurikens and stray down tilts were not hitting too often to build that chip percent up. Instead, it just slowly built, and it only accumulated to 1 stock.
Yeah. So now we find Shenandoah in a similar situation that I was just describing with Sure Hyper, right? Except instead of player number 1, it's player number 2, right? This is where crew battles tend to get out of hand. If Willy is able to snowball this win into many more stocks, that could become overwhelming. The difference in this situation, though, is that Willy, historically, is the anchor for Shenandoah, right? You almost put a certain expectation that, yeah, that player is going to take, or probably have to take, or be ready to take more than 3 stocks. So, can Shenandoah still hang with their backup players? I certainly think so, right? We talked about this roster and how fluid they all are, but something to keep in mind, right? We are seeing Willy go out and overperform right now, but that is almost the standard, the expectation.
On top of that, this Terry has not made too many appearances on this broadcast.
That's true.
And it's a very different matchup than what we have seen with the Kazuya. I feel like Willy plays a much more patient but almost call-out sort of game in the air. Usually we see Willy calling out landings against the opponent with Electric Wind Godfist on that Kazuya, but we're seeing a lot more of this rising tackle, trying to catch opponents on their jump, and it's when it works, it's beautiful, but there have been a couple of times where it doesn't connect in the right spot and could have led to disastrous situations. However, because Willy was charging the invincible version of that rising tackle, I do think that's why he held on to that stock there. Greninja's up B works like Mario's Flood. It pushes people. That Greninja was trying to push Terry off the stage while in special recovery.
Yeah.
That would have been insane.
Yeah.
But I do think because of the invincible hitbox on Terry's charged rising tackle, I believe it's from like the waist down, but he's upside down, so it's like, you know.
His
waist,
legs or his head?
Like his waist to legs.
Okay, is invincible? Yeah. Interesting.
So, like, crazy stuff. Great stuff to see from Willy. Going into this now, you got to get rid of a very strong player on a character that deals with a lot of aerials, and a lot of Florida International's roster are characters who enjoy being in the air, sort of playing this Nair combo starter game. But there is one exception to that rule, I might say, and that is King DDD.
Oh no. So, you see the matchup preference the same exact way we see it, right? Willy, that is Willy specifically in his matchup preference as he sees fit, right? This is not an objective statistic, but Willy basically saying he could not feel more comfortable against just about any other character. Now, Willy racking up percentages, right? So far, percentages going both ways, but it does feel like Willy is in a bit of a rhythm to start here. King DDD, a very heavy character, hard to kill, so the jab power dunk won't quite kill just yet, but 123% certainly feels like we are nearing the end of stock number 1 for King Botan.
Yeah, I do think the advantage state for both of these characters in this matchup in particular is going to be so good. You're talking about 2 characters who tend to be either great comboers with Terry, or DDD's ledge setups are insane. While Terry has a couple of good ways to get back onto the stage, that doesn't mean anything crazy, especially as that auto turnaround is going to secure a stock on the DDD who was trying to roll the up smash, taking out DDD at about 150 or so.
Yeah, now so far, I mean, reminder, Willy only has 2 stocks coming into this matchup. So this King DDD has been able to hang percentage-wise right there with Willy, right? Racking up 150% so far. You would kind of hope that Willy would be able to take quite a few stocks. Wow, an interesting turnaround there. How does that happen? I thought he couldn't do that.
It's his forward tilt. So while Kazuya has a move on his back tilt, Terry's forward tilt is the same both directions. So it may have been the stick back situation. Either way, that was an input instead of just like a weird glitch of the game, as we do see DDD able to secure a back air. And again, it's these advantages from both sides that are really getting the crazy game plans across. While we did see Willy get a little bit of chip damage back while DDD was just keeping Terry off stage, that didn't mean that the DDD was not able to just secure some good hits. Instead, Willy able to sort of secure a bit more of that deficit by landing a down air spike on this DDD. DDD sitting at 55, caught rolling, gets hit by the rising tackle up to the top, but because he's a heavy boy, that means that this king will fall back to stage.
Okay, so this King DDD has been doing a great job of spacing Willy out, right? A lot of the running backwards, finding forward tilts, finding grabs, finding back airs, right? The first stock that Willy lost was him running away, perfectly spacing out of Willy's approach and getting bit for it, right? Moves like that. This King Botan, excuse me, doing a great job of avoiding damage where he can, but just not quite avoiding enough, right? 130% will mean that one will absolutely confirm, and Willy finds his way with one stock remaining onto FIU's final player.
Yeah, King Botan caught just throwing out an extra Gordo at a range that you really shouldn't be trying to do that unless you think your opponent is scared. And we saw Willy roll in multiple times to punish that exact setup, and that up smash on Willy, specifically Terry, is so incredibly fast. So it's just kind of an awkward situation where you should not be trying to zone off that Terry with that move. Instead, you had a great game plan going. Yes, you were going off stage, giving Willy that space, but we saw it where there were multiple times where DDD would jump back off stage, throw out a forward air, or maybe even throw out that Gordo. And while Willy would try to hit it back, that means you had the potential for that hammer under the stage or other similar situations. It just wasn't the right spot in the right time, and that's a big factor, especially when you're playing a heavyweight character.
Yeah, so now Shenandoah finds themselves in a statistically favorable situation, except if I had to guess, it will probably be Dominator on the FIU roster, a Mario player who I believe is the strongest player on that roster. I'm assuming that will be the final player for FIU that we have not seen yet, and that means Shenandoah now has 3 players to try to go in and take 3 stocks off this Mario, right? Willy, with only 1 stock, is in, whoops, there goes my pen, is in a bit of a weird situation, because if he doesn't take any stocks, that does leave Shenandoah without arguably their 2 best players.
We're talking about a character who is the definition of well-rounded. Mario just has a lot of great tools ready at any given point, and a great out-of-shield game. We will see the matchup preference here being sort of a 50-50 situation, and I think that start is the exact reason why. Both characters want to get close to each other and have great air combo game, but it's a matter of getting these initial hits. One Mario back air into a potential up air setup. Mario was trying to close out that stock right then and there, as we do see one spike into a sour spot on the second, able to get these quick back airs and keep Willy off stage.
Yeah, keep an eye out for that dash attack on Mario 2. That does have a pretty obnoxious 2-frame hitbox. The fireball off the platform, catching Willy in the air, stalling him for just long enough that Mario can find the back air and finish the job. No spike needed, and Dominator on his way to Shenandoah's 3rd player now.
I mean, that looked really nice. We're talking about a player who we were expecting to put on a show, and we got exactly what we were asking for. A great projectile confirm into the back air. Willy looking like he either wanted a power dunk or maybe a burn knuckle back onto the stage. Crack shoot even would have worked great. But because that fireball was in just the right spot at just the right time, that means we didn't see that move come out. Willy caught just a little bit on the wrong timing, and so we're dealing with a pretty scary Mario player.
Yeah, this could certainly cause problems for Shenandoah, right? I mentioned it a little bit before that matchup started. You could certainly make a strong argument that Kipp and Willy are the 2 best players on this team. Not by much, right? This whole roster is very well balanced, but it puts them in a bit of a situation where now you're putting in these bridge players we talked about before, right? The players you don't put in first, the players you don't put in last. So Shenandoah now forced to put in what we have listed as a sub. It will be FarRhombus on the Jigglypuff to try to take some damage off of this Mario.
I like this decision because when we talk about the sort of awkward spot that Mario can't really, or that a character can't hit, you would expect Mario to be able to do it, right? He has a great air combo game. He has up smash out of shield. Yes, but if Jigglypuff is sitting right outside your shield and gets a just sort of baits out that up smash, we could see FarRhombus taking out stocks a lot sooner than we expect. And I mean, look at this. Already, FarRhombus is getting crazy damage as both players find each other dashing around each other's smash attacks.
Yeah, how about this? 100% on the Mario to start the series. FarRhombus looking very comfortable so far. Trying to find it his way, though, right? None of that matters if stocks are not taken. We saw the story of the day. Wow, I don't think Mario... Oh, wow, he probably could have made it back, but it didn't matter. FarRhombus going the distance and taking care of stock number 1 off of Dominator, only taking 44% in the meantime.
And this is what Jigglypuff excels at. She dances around your burst range at just that awkward spot. That pound aerial coverage is insane. And so now you have to wonder, okay, I need to commit to trying and hit this Jigglypuff, but that means if FarRhombus is committing to a pound, you're gonna get hit. You may get comboed. It's on this Mario to find those opportunities, and we are seeing the strategy unfold. Mario trying to use Flood, keep Jigglypuff in the air, and dance around, but instead FarRhombus saying, yeah, I'll stay in the air. Let me go on the platform. Let me reset my jumps. We will play this game as long as I need to.
Yeah, I don't know if the mic is picking it up. I'm sitting here just sort of chuckling in awe, right? If FarRhombus does lose his first stock there, but this is playing out basically exactly how you said it, right? Both of these players just jumping around, throwing attacks, and neither one really able to land it, but more specifically, right, that is what Jigglypuff wants. It's exactly what FarRhombus is trying to do. Dominator hasn't been able to get in and find many hits. Now, of course, right as I start to say that, FarRhombus does take quite a bit of damage there to sort of even this out, but the forward smash connects, and FarRhombus goes the distance once again, chasing Dominator off stage and finishing business. Now, man, not for long, right? Dominator does find the spike right off the ledge, and we're back to a one-stock game, but you have to keep in mind this is a team game. Shenandoah has one more player in reserve. This is great positioning for Shenandoah.
Yeah, but we do see an amazing Mario combo starting things off
Wow.
with the down air, able to secure the stock, sending FarRhombus off the top. A beautiful string coming out from the Mario player, but at what cost, Chris? Mario now sitting at 1 stock remaining against a fully readied up Shenandoah player.
Yeah, okay, so this is tough, right? The 2 players remaining being AyeJay and Igloo. I would have to think that unless AyeJay has a strong matchup preference into Mario, I have to believe that it will be Igloo coming in last for Shenandoah, right? Stone cold, we talk about it all the time. I talk about it all the time. Every time we see Igloo on stream, it's when he needs to be cold-blooded and take care of business, usually under a pretty substantial amount of pressure, and here we are.
And this is the situation when you need it. You're talking about a very commanding player who did an amazing job dealing with a matchup that FarRhombus made look like it was incredibly difficult. Mario did find the openings that he needed for those last couple of hits, but at the cost of 2 stocks like we saw. It's not easy to sort of adapt to that on the fly, and I'm curious if we move into the next round of the crew battle, if we see that matchup again, how it plays out. But for this time around, 1 Yoshi down air, 35%, and a couple more good hits will mean we get to see why this matchup is a little bit preferred for the Yoshi at least in the eyes of Igloo.
Yeah, so this will be... Wow, does Yoshi make it back? Yes, he does. Good lord, I would not have thought that Yoshi as a character could recover from that deep, but Igloo knows it best, right? This Yoshi is going to try to make its presence felt, but a forward smash off the ledge will absolutely secure that stock. Igloo losing his first, but once again, only needs to take one and putting up 84% on stock number 1 is certainly a good pace, but again, none of that matters if you can't finish the job. Dominator trying to find the up special out of the shield, trying to get any percent onto this Yoshi, but now Igloo slowing the game down quite a bit and just trying to rack up percentage of his own.
And understandably so, but I do wonder, this player, Dominator, seems so good with more time, when given more information. So these couple of hits, Igloo is going to want to close this series out as fast as possible, because it seems like Dominator's ability to get the download and start making very aggressive reads at incredible accuracy may be incredibly detrimental later on, as Mario has to go very low to get back onto the stage. The egg does not connect just yet, but an up smash from Igloo catches Mario letting go of shield just a little too early, as he's able to secure the stock.
That's a bad man. Ooh, every time we see him, he takes care of business, right? Igloo is stone cold. I say it every time, and I'm going to keep saying it. I don't care how annoying this gets. Igloo is very, very strong under pressure, and as soon as Mario took that first stock, right, all of the pressure on him doubles, right? Oh, you got to go in there and take one stock, and Igloo finds a way to get it done. Very impressive stuff. We knew that these two teams would be very evenly matched, and I would say set 1 did not disappoint.
Oh, absolutely. Chris, we saw a handful of Florida's best players up against, again, very strong players in not just Virginia, but the whole Nova region. And they clashed back and forth, trading blow for blow. The pendulum swinging into Florida International's favor and then back into Shenandoah's. If we do not see adaptations from both sides, I will be shocked.
Yeah, it's going to make for some interesting Smash Bros, right? We already saw a pretty drastic change to Shenandoah's textbook game plan, putting Willy in at 2. Ultimately, works out, right? Does Shenandoah opt to stay with this, or maybe revert back to comfort in what we usually see Willy going in last to maybe try to deal with the Mario? Maybe Willy doesn't like the Mario matchup, and Shenandoah is making an aggressive decision to try to just take care of business on the front end. Who knows, right? And it's exciting to see the players out there talking and really, game planning, seeing what they feel needs to change versus what we think needs to change back here. If you think things need to change, how do you change for FIU? Do you change order? I mean, only that came down to 2 stocks. Do you really think that was out of control?
I don't know. I feel as though Shenandoah is going to feel the pressure to move that Pac-Man, move Kipp to a different spot, because Kipp is usually so good at controlling the pace of the game, and that Wolf matchup seemed very difficult. So do you take that call? Do you try and save that Wolf for that matchup because you think that that is your best opportunity to try and close things out? Or do you say, our Wolf player is going to be good no matter what, and frankly, the rest of the roster can deal with Pac-Man? Maybe they have that experience, but I think that's a player that Shenandoah's roster did not see enough of in that first round for FIU to really hard commit and say, yeah, we think we can deal with this Pac-Man. This is a scary dude. So, I don't know. I feel like you need to give that player the respect it deserves, but also we saw Shenandoah give the Wolf player the respect it deserves, sending out Willy early, as well as that Mario player. FarRhombus, understandably, is a very good player. We saw how well he was able to sort of dance around that game plan, and it's another superstar top-ranked player. I don't know. There's so many different ways you could take this, Chris.
Yeah, you certainly could. And while we're between sets, I do want to take a quick moment to breathe, right? In case you just joined us, we've got two forms of Smash competition going on here tonight. Our Academy team is also competing. If you would like to watch them, they are live on the YouTube, so be sure to check it out. I have a quick update for those of you who want to stay here. Academy is up 1-0, and I was told that Tripophobia went and took 11 stocks. So Academy in great position to succeed. We'll see if they are able to continue that momentum into their set number 2. Meanwhile, here on the main broadcast, right, if you just got here, we are covering Shenandoah's varsity team against Florida International, and that did go the distance, right? We went all the way to both teams' last player, and it was very close. We knew it was going to be very close because FIU has very, very talented players. So does Shenandoah, right? These are two phenomenal teams. So as we prepare for set number 2, it does create interesting questions for us back here, right? Do you opt to just trade the Wolf and Pac-Man and sort of cancel each other out like we saw last time? Does Shenandoah stick with Willy up front or drop him to the back like we've seen so many times throughout the last year, right? A lot of questions coming, but we are preparing to get into set number 2, and we'll take you into that shortly.
Which, again, there are so many different aspects you can take going into this game. I'm very curious to see if Shenandoah feels pressured to swap out Kipp as a starter or not. That's usually his home. That's usually the spot where we see the most dynamic opportunities for him because he's able to sort of matchup check people. Not a lot of people know how to deal with the Pac-Man. And so is that the way you take things? Is it just, do we send Kipp in, assume that FIU is going to try and make a change, maybe save the Kipp for the back, or I don't know. There's so many different approaches to that.
Now, we are getting what I assume to be word from our production team that, okay, well, I'm being potentially misled. It looks like FIU might be sending out Mario first. So even if that's not the case, right, I'll say that as a hypothetical. We can't confirm that that's true. But if that's true, I am looking at the roster matchup preferences, and I do believe that Kipp does not like that matchup.
I mean, I believe it.
Right. And I guess I did talk to Kipp about that, or I talked to Igloo about that before the series, right? Team captain told me that Mario going out first would kind of cause problems for Kipp and then consequently the rest of the roster. So could be an aggressive decision here out of FIU, opting to send arguably their best player out first to try to take care of business on the front end.
We saw just how difficult the Wolf matchup was already. I would be terrified if this Mario player, who was doing an amazing job of downloading information and really getting those hard reads, goes to the next level, goes into a matchup they don't expect, to leave opportunity for that Wolf player to just snowball the end game. That's terrifying, especially with what we saw on that character's momentum. When going up against Willy, right? Wolf had 1 stock, Willy had the 3, and yes, Wolf lost that stock before Willy lost anything, but it was a last hit situation where both players, if anything, could have connected. The only thing that Wolf was caught out on was a jump. It was power geyser, Chris. The move is huge. No one else has that range except for maybe Min Min. Like, and last time I checked, we're not seeing that tonight. So
not that I know of.
You don't expect those sorts of situations, especially when you're dealing with a lot of characters who are just sort of close range. Wolf is so good.
Yeah, and this is another interesting thing about crew battles in general, right? When the first 2 players go relatively even and just sort of knock each other out before we know much about either player, recency comes into play, right? You have to watch the entire rest of that set, and before you know it, you kind of forget you saw them, right? It's been so long, and we didn't get to see much gameplay out of either of those 2 players. You have to think that, yeah, if Wolf is in a situation where he can go on a run, just based off those 3 stocks that we saw him take, you have to believe that he could go the distance if needed, right? That was a very strong performance that now feels so long ago, but okay, we are receiving final word from production, a bit of a preview ahead of what you will see. Pre-game, we talked about stories, right? Okay, well, we're getting into a button check, excuse me, but if I'm not mistaken, we might be seeing King Botan and Kipp go at it, as we hope to see, right? Two friends that know each other outside of the game will match up 3 stocks into 3 stocks and try to duke it out here on stage.
I love to see it. Now, I also think that this might work out a little bit more for King Botan than it did the first round of the crew battle. We saw this DDD go up against the Willy Terry and take 1 stock, but I do believe that they are going to start playing out this match, which means that we will be able to cut and see the potential gameplay here. The Pac-Man player is getting a solid amount of damage going as we see a good amount of hits secured, starting things off. This is the craziness of this matchup that we already are starting to see.
Yeah, so it certainly seems like we are into the action, right? Players decided to merge the button check with actual gameplay. Fine with us, right? It saves us a little bit of time, nothing wrong with that, but the clock's a little bit lower. Now here's the key word, right? The key graphic. Nothing matters more than what's on the left side of your screen right now. Kipp loves this matchup, right? And we see, wow, a heck of a call out there. The forward smash lands off of the roll. King DDD can't quite get to the other side of Pac-Man and finds the back end of a ghost, sending him right off stage. You have to think that the amount of time that these players have spent training into each other is going to play into this, right? These players don't need to take time to download each other's tendencies. They've already got them, and we might see some of that come into play now.
I think we're already seeing bits and pieces. We saw apple combos earlier that I have not seen before, as well as DDD ducked under the hydrant, Chris. That's a big penguin. He's not supposed to be doing that.
He sure is not. That is a really big penguin. Now, King DDD, similar to Mario, right, has a pretty crazy dash attack hitbox, right? We know that that can catch you on the ledge. I think it's a 2-frame, right? It doesn't catch you under the ledge, right?
It can.
Really?
Yeah,
Okay.
it can do both. But
I looked away. What happened?
Oh my goodness, I think Kipp was going for the side B, but the Gordo hit the power pellet.
Really?
I think Kipp got cold all the way down in the bottom blast zone and lost the stock off of a crazy interaction. Again, the matchup knowledge coming into play in ways I would never expect.
Wow, wow, wow. Okay, so King DDD also just neutral bead. Oh my lord, what is going on? Neutral bead the hydrant and spit it right back out. It did not roll, so that's 3 mental notes now for Chris Clayton. 1, Greninja grab is ridiculous. 2, don't look away when these 2 are on screen. And 3, King DDD can eat a hydrant? I don't know what's going on, Kevin.
I mean, this is the definition of a wacky matchup. We're seeing everything.
Brand that. Copyright that. Put it on a shirt.
Yeah, it's crazy what we're seeing. And now we're starting to see Kipp start recovering higher instead of going all the way down. I think he was caught out just as much as this DDD. Now both players sitting at relatively even percentages. I'm loving this because this is the level of adaptation that FIU needs to bring this series back. We saw the DDD called out by Willy earlier, and now both players are exchanging hits blow for blow, but it seems like a win-win for both sides.
Okay, I have to think a little bit outside the box here, right? I have to think that FIU made a decision that if somebody's going to take care of this Pac-Man, we don't want it to be the wolf or the... Oh, my lord! The Gordo sends the fruit right back at Kipp, and Kipp is down another stock. Okay, what was I saying before? If somebody's going to take care of the Pac-Man, we don't want it to be either the wolf or the Mario, right? We want to keep that in reserve. So who has the best shot but somebody who has played against Kipp somewhat regularly, right? This is a great decision from FIU. I really like this, and the results we certainly could not have predicted. Now, King DDD all the way up to 190%. Kipp struggling to put this stock away, and King DDD almost finds his way back on stage, but not quite yet.
King Botan definitely is in Kipp's head just a little bit. The amount of time that he was holding on to that orange was almost a level of unnecessary. Kipp able to get the forward air plus the hydrant to secure a stock at 228 on this DDD. But look at this, holding on to the Galaga, trying to get the Gordo to potentially start a crazy combo of his own. I mean, again, we're starting to see just the level of understanding that these two have. Gordo on's get up means that DDD will get a little bit of momentum, but in return, Kipp finds a Galaga combo, setting DDD at 95%, but that is not going to be enough to take him out just yet, unless we see a crazy bell sort of setup, as we see a nice Gordo setup to try and deal with the Hydrant early on. Beautiful stuff.
Yeah, this is so interesting, right? And right as I say, okay, Kipp seems to have sort of settled it in. Oh no! Okay, the bell gets reflected right back at him. Kipp forced to roll, but he does find enough time to get behind DDD and get the forward smash. Kipp comes out on top in the bragging rights heavyweight matchup, but not without losing 2 stocks along the way. If you're at Florida International, you have to think that that is not a bad outcome at all.
Yeah, this is the ideal outcome you want in any crew battle situation. If you are going to go down, you want to take the 2 stocks, get as much information as you can, and then send in someone who could take that stock without losing anything. And I think we got a ton of all of that. A lot of Kipp's game plans were starting to get very unique, and it was just by nature of this DDD player already knowing a lot of these wacky interactions.
This is too much fun. We really don't get to talk about this type of mental game, this type of preparation, because how often do you know the guy across the line, right? How often have you put that many hours, that many matchups into a player before you meet them on stage, right? Not often is the answer. So yeah, there's a deep mental warfare going on right now between these two teams. And I would say in that one, right, statistically, SU comes out on top, but FIU got a very solid payout from it.
It, again, is a win-win for both sides. In the first round of this crew battle, DDD only secured 1 stock. This time around, he was able to secure 2. Kipp is able to stay alive this time around, securing 3 stocks. Both players walking ahead in the situations that they want. Now it's going to be a matter of, can FIU secure this 1 stock to close things out? If that happens, that means it is very beneficial that they sent in this DDD first for that matchup. If not, we may see some of the more problematic sides of dealing with this Pac-Man.
Yeah, so now FIU is presented with an interesting decision, right? We have thrown our order out the window. So who comes in next to deal with the Pac-Man? Well, we have our answer. It will be SureHyper on the Wolf, right? We saw this player find success against Kipp, taking all 3 stocks the first time that these 2 players met. And with only 1 stock to work with, Kipp has an opportunity to try to get some extra credit, but you have to think SureHyper won't get 3 stocked here.
Kipp with the amazing Heihachi Mishima taunt.
I missed it.
Beautiful stuff. Very high skill, I must say. But with all of that being said, Wolf said enough of that. Let's get into the matchup. A beautiful forward air string sets Kipp up already at 50%. And we saw how snowbally SureHyper is as a player. This may be exactly what he wants going forward, because you have the opportunity to secure your snowball early in a situation that is already incredibly beneficial for you. So now we see Kipp able to make it back onto the stage, going for a Galaga hit, does get a down air to connect. Wolf caught air dodging and eats a little bit of damage, but Kipp is at the percentage to lose the stock to a back air. It is crazy close. Kipp looking for that 1 extra stock, saying at the very least, I want to try to make this as valuable for my team as possible, but Wolf already throwing out them back airs.
Yeah, oh wow, up smash connects, but it won't be enough that time around. I do wonder how much the reflector is in Kipp's head right now. We did see, oh wow, Kipp caught jumping, and the up smash does connect. Kipp will go down, and stocks are tied once again, but this time around, FIU, the one to bring it back to even instead of Shenandoah, and now Shenandoah does get the option of who they want to deal with the Wolf.
And I have a feeling that we're going to see a repeat of what we saw last round going forward. It would not surprise me if we do see Willy trying to make an appearance to try and close out this Wolf player and try to even things back up again. This player is strong and is very snowbally. What do you do in that situation? Give them the respect that they deserve. once again, I do think Willy should be making an appearance here. I imagine once again on the Terry, I would not expect Kazuya to be making an appearance, especially with so many characters, again, that have great aerial starters. I don't know. Willy is very good at anti-airing with electric,
Yeah.
but like, I don't know. I would, if you have the opportunity to just say, I'm just going to rising tackle, I feel like you might as well just go for it.
Yeah, and like you all saw what we saw, right? It does look like Willy sat down in the hot seat. We expect it to be Terry going into the Wolf, but now you have an even 3-stock to 3-stock situation. And I don't remember, did Willy lose a stock to the Wolf? No, but it came very close, right?
Yes.
It came down to that Power Geyser. So we'll see, right? An even matchup here. We saw SureHyper able to get some momentum against Willy in the 1-stock he had to work with, but ultimately not enough playing time to get much more from it. So Willy making it known here on the left side of your screen that he should be very comfortable into this matchup, and we'll see if that comes to fruition for Shenandoah.
I'm wondering if it's the snowball effect. We do see SureHyper able to, yes, snowball with the base mechanics of this character, but I'm wondering if Willy's snowball on go is just going to be so overwhelming against Wolf that it will become a non-factor in this 3-stock to 3-stock situation. Oh, crazy spot dodge call out, using the up special to drag Willy to the side of the stage and close out the stock. Beautiful play.
Yeah, okay, so we did not get to see any of the go meter there because promptly as Willy hit 100%, he lost it. So racking up percentage, the dash attack connects, and Kevin, you look stunned next
What
to
are
me.
these mind games, Chris? Willy dashed back twice. Wolf didn't have to roll twice, and yet he did. What are these mind games that both players are going for? Traded hits, blow for blow, Dragon Ball style. What is happening?
Yeah, okay, so this is high-level Smash, whether you like it or not, all right? These are interesting decisions, and decisions you don't get to see very often in most of our Smash games, right? Us low-level Smash players don't get to experience this, but these players are making extremely deliberate decisions and aggressive decisions. The Buster Wolf won't connect, it gets shielded, and Terry finds himself off stage. The Rising Tackle connects through the stage, and Terry finds himself back in a neutral position, but high percentages now both ways. You have to think that Willy wants to find this kill while he still has the go meter, but the up smash scoops all the way from the roll, and Willy does lose his 2nd stock.
And I mean, look at these beautiful setups from this Wolf. I'm loving what I'm seeing, but also, Chris, that Buster Wolf connects on everyone else in this roster. Wow! Another call out, another spot dodge called out by Willy. Was able to secure it for another stock, but Wolf catching the jump. Willy has to air dodge back to the ledge. A very beautiful way to get back control. It would have been very easy for Willy to lose momentum there as the Wolf jumps all the way up for the back air. Crazy stuff.
Okay, so Shenandoah with the choice in their favor, right? Who do they want to go in and deal with the Wolf? They chose Willy, and Willy does not come out on top, right? That puts Shenandoah on their heels, right? They have to now eliminate this one remaining stock on the Wolf, and keep in mind that the Mario is still in reserve. Now, if we can expect what we saw out of FarRhombus, that is a game changer for Shenandoah, right? If they're able to preserve that matchup, but now you are presented with an uncomfortable decision. Do you send out FarRhombus now to deal with the Wolf, or do you put in Igloo, who was the closer, to now have to deal with Wolf and presumably the Greninja? That matchup we just watched had major consequences now for the rest of this series.
It did, and I don't know how I feel about sending FarRhombus into a Wolf player. Now, this could just be the knowledge of the matchup we have seen with Shenandoah's Wolf player in years past. Nimstafa did a great job of making that matchup look like it is popping a balloon. And I fear FarRhombus is a very good player, don't get me wrong, but you do not send yourself in a bad matchup unless that is your last resort. And if that's a bad matchup, it worries me.
Yeah. I don't know. Right. Shenandoah now forced to make a decision. Shenandoah put in a situation we don't see them in very often, right? When did I last say that? Earlier today when Kipp lost his first matchup against that exact Wolf player. So here's the good news, right? Willy did go get 2 stocks off this Wolf. So Shenandoah does have the opportunity to tie the stock count and still go 2 players into 2 players, right? That's the light at the end of the tunnel, right? That matchup didn't go how Shenandoah wanted it to, but it's not the end of the world, right? It's not like Willy just got 3 stocked. So I don't know, right? I don't know. This is weird because in my head, right? If I'm SU, I don't want to send in Igloo yet. I don't want to send in FarRhombus yet. I don't know how AyeJay Falco matchup goes into Wolf.
Spacey matchup. Yo.
Yeah, like I'm sure that would put us kind of all to sleep. But like you also have to keep in mind that then AyeJay would have to play against whoever's next, presumably Greninja. So I don't know. I don't have the answer back here, but we did just get the answer. We are loading into game here, and the answer from SU will be to try and preserve the Jigglypuff matchup for the Mario. So stone cold. Igloo has to come in and take care of business once more. We rarely see Igloo as the closer for Shenandoah, but man, is he familiar with pressure and once again finds himself in the pressure deep.
I'm wondering if we do see, oh my
Look
goodness.
at that.
Okay, like we said, if you're going to send in a player into a bad matchup, it needs to be your last resort. And I do think that this is the situation that calls for that. This is not where Shenandoah wanted to be. And while they do have the safety net to try and bring this back into another series, they want to try and close it out with this one, which means you need to make aggressive play calling like this. You can't play the same stock standard safe style. Instead, you need to get aggressive. You need to find your callouts, and this is going to be SU's response.
Yeah, okay. So again, you have to be looking down the line here if you're SU, right? That you have obviously nothing matters if you can't get past the stock that's immediately in front of you. But this is a long-term decision that Shenandoah has just made. Yoshi probably likes the Greninja matchup, but needs to take care of business now. 74% on the 1 remaining stock from this Wolf, and we'll see if Igloo's able to clean it out, finish it off without losing one of his own, but the back air does connect, and Igloo now down to 5 stocks. Shenandoah will not be able to tie the stock count just yet, but Sure Hyper maybe looking for a little bit more now.
Yeah, this isn't necessarily a game ender for Shenandoah. You have to understand that when we saw Igloo go in last, he was up against the Mario and closing out 1 stock against that player. Able to find that stock to close things out. I believe it was a 1-to-1 situation. If Igloo is able to hold on to these 2, he may still be able to find opportunities to deal with the Mario going forward. It's a lot to ask for, but to close out this stock would be what keeps Shenandoah in the game.
Yeah, 120, 130% the back air connects. The egg won't finish it just yet. Wolf finds his way back on stage, and Igloo goes for an aggressive decision, probably trying to catch the roll, I assume, but Sure Hyper not falling for it. 130% once again, right? Just about a back air would do it, a down air would do it. I would think a sour spot forward air would just about do it from here. So Sure Hyper, accordingly, slows the game down a bit, right? Plays back, waits for Igloo to try to come to him, but Igloo can sit here all day, right? He knows his matchup. He knows that he doesn't love it, and wow, does get bit by the back air. Igloo loses 2 stocks now, trying to put this one away off of Sure Hyper.
Yeah, we did see Igloo trying to get a little bit of center stage control, but at the cost of a stock. Instead, now we are looking for this final hit. Igloo going for the forward airs, trying to potentially combo it. Instead, gets another roll read. Not only off of what we saw with Willy earlier, but another roll read from Igloo just now. I mean, those rolls are becoming detrimental for this Wolf player.
Yeah, okay. So, patterns are being picked up, right? What do we talk about in high-level Smash? Their ability to recognize patterns, right? Recognize tendencies, recognize bad habits. And sure enough, one more bad habit comes back to bite Wolf in the end, but not before taking 2 stocks off Igloo, right? That was more than what was required for FIU, right? So now Igloo has to go and take 3 stocks, presumably, off the Greninja, and try to maybe get another one off Mario. Otherwise, you're putting FarRhombus in a situation that I don't think we have ever seen him in his Shenandoah career.
And you're making the right call here, Chris, because they have 6 stocks. They could send in the Greninja right now, but I think you do send in the Mario because it was a 1-to-1 stock value there. You secure the one. Maybe you hold on to your 1 stock as Mario. Maybe you lose that 1 stock if you're playing purely off of the stats. But you have to take that going forward. Is Greninja going to be able to deal with this Jigglypuff? I can't tell. It's not only because of Greninja just sort of being a niche character on their own. Jigglypuff floats in that awkward spot, but Greninja's up smash is pretty strong, but doesn't have the most consistent hitbox. I don't know, there's a lot of different elements that go into that. So do you try and say, okay, let's send in Greninja now, maybe secure some stocks, see how that matchup feels going forward. If we're confident we're going to close this out, we send in the Greninja now to try and get as much information about how they play as possible. Or do you say, enough of this, we have momentum, close out this series and send in the Mario to try and bring this to a 1-1? There's an argument for both, and it's going to be up to the players to decide which one is the right call for now.
Yeah, either way, momentum heavily in favor of FIU, right? It's going to take SU going pretty deep into their bag of tricks to claw out of this one. I'm certainly not ruling it out, right? There's a lot of Smash left to be played, and we know what this team is capable of, especially when they are under pressure. But we don't see this very often, and it's hard to predict that that type of thing could happen. So who's to say, right? I think you raise a really good point in, do you send the Mario out now? That's not even something I had considered until you mentioned it, but I think that does make a lot of sense, right? Yoshi did not look super comfortable into the Mario and did lose the stock before taking the 1 remaining one. So I don't know, right? This is a bit nerve-wracking if you're an SU fan.
Well, we got the information back here, Chris, and it's going to be a completely new player for the side of FIU. The Pokemon trainer appears to be making an appearance to deal with this dino. And I think this is a beautiful decision, not only because now you're starting to get... You're not giving information about this superstar Mario player, but also you're dealing with a player who deals with 3 characters at the same time. It's not easy to read that, Chris.
Yeah, so now I'm not sure how the Igloo feels against a Pokemon trainer. And ultimately, I'm sure it comes down to which character the Pokemon trainer is actively playing as, right? It's a weird dichotomy, a weird, fundamental aspect of Pokemon Trainer that this character covers so much ground between the 3 Pokemon.
Whoa!
But wow, is Igloo off to the start that he needs. Taking stock number 1, only taking 30% quick business for Igloo.
I mean, you will not see that situation play out again in this matchup if I had to bet. If we see this matchup again, it is crazy how Igloo found that stock off of a beautiful forward smash call out. Ivysaur lives that, Charizard lives that. It's just the fact that Exiva was sitting on that Squirtle trying to rack up that damage, just called out a little early and loses a stock because of it.
Yeah, now look down at the bottom of your screen, right? It's been about, I don't know, minute since that last stock was taken, and look at how much the game has slowed down, right? I think Exiva sort of feeling the pressure of, oh my lord, I just lost the stock within 30 seconds, or at least it felt like. Exiva does have a job here to take care of, and that is just 1 stock off of Igloo. Now that is a tall ask, a tall order, but nonetheless, right? The game has slowed down significantly, and it does appear to be working in favor of Exiva, right? A lot more damage racking up on Igloo, albeit slowly. Yoshi has not been able to get in and deal much of any damage since that first stock.
Yeah, we do see a couple of good egg hits. Ivysaur trying to catch the Igloo jump, but in return is hitting a couple of down airs. We do see the boxing game when both sides are close is pretty intense, as these giant hitboxes from both sides, as they try to get the right call, both making extremely hard callouts, is doing a lot, but the back air not able to close things out just yet. Igloo going for even more, does get the forward air, and gets the Charizard out to play. We do see Charizard going for the platform, going for the forward air, trying to sit back, does get the grab beneath the platform, which will be enough to close out the stock. A very dangerous position to be in, but a complete opposite to what we would have seen with the Ivysaur. Ivysaur was playing a game where Igloo felt comfortable under the platform, so to go for that swap and try to catch Charizard while they were on the top, Charizard making the right call, falling down, getting the grab, and securing the stock that they needed.
Okay, well, the situation is laid out for you, right? The roadmap for SU to put this series away now is laid out in front of us, right? Who we assume to be FarRhombus. I believe we all saw the same thing. I'm pretty sure that was FarRhombus preparing to take the seat. Is going to have to take 2 stocks now off of the Pokemon Trainer, and almost assuredly 3 stocks off the Mario, right? Without losing 3 of his own. Something we have not seen FarRhombus be asked to do. Something we haven't seen FarRhombus do other than... I mean, we've seen FarRhombus go out and take, what was it, like 11 stocks? Or no, I think it was 9 stocks the other day as an opener. Cool, right? That was very impressive. That was awesome to watch. These are very different circumstances. And while 5 is less than 9, this is going to be a lot harder.
It is harder, Chris. And while I do think that ordinarily we expect that sort of situation, I do think Shenandoah is making a different call. I do believe AyeJay is being selected to go in, which does make a lot of sense. We're talking about a situation where the pressure's on you and you need to perform. AyeJay is a very consistent player, has a very solid game plan in place, and will act accordingly to that game plan. You're talking about a Pokemon Trainer matchup and a Mario. I don't see those matchups being bad for Falco, maybe potentially in the middle, but I do think that this might work out better instead of trying to take that gamble on this floaty character who can lose stocks so early. There's an argument for both. But I do think that AyeJay going into this situation is a very good call, a very smart and conserved call, especially because Shenandoah is up 1-0 in this series so far.
Yeah, all right. I mean, broke my ankles, right? I thought we saw FarRhombus sitting down in the hot seat, but I was wrong. So we do have word from our production team, we'll be getting into game here soon, that AyeJay will be player number 4 for Shenandoah, right? Big decision here out of SU, and I mean, you laid it out for us, right? An interesting but ultimately logical decision out of, or at least reasonable decision out of SU. Now, equally big mountain to climb for AyeJay, right? All the same criteria I just laid out as if it was FarRhombus still applies, right? This is still not something we've ever really seen AyeJay have to be put through, and sure enough, yeah, an interesting matchup preference here as AyeJay saying that he actually really doesn't like this matchup.
Yeah, I do think we may see a bit of a call out here from AyeJay. I do think, keep an eye on how he plays this. He has to hold on to all 3 of these stocks over the course of 2 matches. I do wonder if it will come down to AyeJay really sitting back. As we see here, Charizard swapped out. AyeJay willing to sit back, throw out a couple of lasers, swapping to the Squirtle, going for a back air on the side special. Great hit from AyeJay. It won't secure a stock just yet, but it's the kind of plays that need to be made.
Yeah, AyeJay getting a little aggressive there, gets caught up being right on the ledge. But yeah, now Squirtle out at 100% could die extremely early, but Good patience there out of Exiva to try to capitalize on a few missteps out of AyeJay. Now percentage racking up. The reflector does come out to try to get a little quirky, but the down smash does connect. And was that a taunt I just saw? A little bold decision there out of FIU, down 1-0 in the series. Feeling good about their chances.
Yeah, that's the kind of stuff that really adds fuel to this fire. AyeJay looking for this last hit as we can see the pressure sort of building and sticking on the Squirtle. As we see the Falco forward air connect, it won't be able to secure it, but when you swap Pokemon like that, that means that AyeJay will be able to secure another stock. And again, we see a great combo starter from AyeJay, getting a good amount of damage, rolling to start things off. It doesn't need to be anything crazy as long as you're able to hold on to the 2 that you've got now.
Yeah, 47% now on stock number 2 for AyeJay. Racking up percentage, right? These neutral B bullets starting to land, and every little bit matters if you are AyeJay, right? The forward smash almost landing there off the ledge and might have put AyeJay in a dire position, but does not connect, right? Thing of the past. And wow! AyeJay goes up top and finds the back air. Well done, well executed, and now 2 stocks to 3 stocks. AyeJay going into Mario. And, I mean, it's relatively doable.
It is. I loved the way that AyeJay performed under pressure there. He did go down that 1 stock, but he wasn't phased. The Squirtle taunted Chris, and he was unfazed, able to find the up air and catch the Squirtle on trying to get back to the stage. Immediately hit with the back air, I believe holding in the same direction as that back air sent, because that Squirtle went flying.
Yeah, a little bit. And again, aggressive decision to stay as Squirtle, right? We saw Exiva clearly saying that they're comfortable on Squirtle at high percentages, but just about every time we saw it happen, we saw Squirtle die at earlier percentages than other Pokemon would, right? We saw Igloo go in and take that first stock in the blink of an eye, whereas you said it, Ivysaur or Charizard does not die under those circumstances. And then, yeah, same exact situation. High percentage Squirtle comes back to bite them, and now AyeJay left with 1 player in his way, right? Dominator on the Mario, we feel pretty confident will try to come in and close this out and tie the series for FIU.
This is going to be a tale of consistency versus like snowball potential. We saw Dominator is a very good adaptive player, but AyeJay is a very good consistent player at getting these game plans off. So is it going to be a matter of AyeJay holding to his guns and being able to secure these last couple of stocks, or is Mario going to find cracks in this game plan and secure the series for a 1-1 situation?
Who's to say? Neither of us, but time will tell and the game will speak for itself as we load into the final player for both sides here. Shenandoah up 1-0 in the series, and FIU trying to claw it back, tie this best of 3 up at 1 and make it go the distance.
Yeah, we do see Mario able to get a couple of good hits to start things off. Keep an eye on the Flood and the forward airs from this Mario. It's going to be a very dangerous spot for Falco to be able to recover in this sort of matchup. Mario opting to use Flood potentially to get AyeJay off the other side of the stage. AyeJay trying to dash away and get a little bit of damage going. And Mario keeping that game plan rolling. Gets a Nair combo, getting Mario a little bit more advantage, but both players making it back onto the stage. It's a back and forth so far.
Yeah, again, keep an eye on the dash attacks, right? That is scary to recover into, especially on a character like Falco, who can absolutely get hit on the recovery. Pretty predictable recoveries out of Falco in general. So, right, I mean, Falco on the fire announces when he's recovering, but Mario sent far off stage. Both players able to make it back to the ledge, and we're back on to this relatively neutral state, right? Both of these players just trying to control the stage, and so far, Dominator doing a great job of maintaining that presence, and sure enough, the up smash connects, and Dominator goes up 3-1 in the stocks.
Yeah, we are starting to see a bit of adaptation from Dominator, able to stay on the stage, not trying to go for anything too crazy. Instead, realizing that they have the advantage, is holding on to these stocks, playing the patient game. We do see the matchup preference on the left side of the screen.
Oh, wow.
Where it is exactly that sort of 50-50 game plan. And if you're going to play your 50-50s, both players losing stocks at the same pace, you better believe that if you have that lead to start things off, you're definitely willing to play that patient game.
Yeah, now 130%. Falco going up high, can't quite finish the job, and now the percentage is traded all the way back. The down B does not quite kill AyeJay yet, so the forward smash but will absolutely finish the job. Unfortunate finish there for AyeJay and SU going down in set number 2, and we've got a tied series. We are going the distance, Kevin.
Yeah, and again, adaptations are the name of the game, Chris. We saw how beautiful an adaptation it was to start things off with that King DDD, getting that one extra stock and saving the Wolf for that Willy matchup, where we thought that it would play out a little bit differently, but that Wolf doing an amazing job of keeping the momentum in FIU's favor. So now it's going to be on Shenandoah. How do you react to this? That start for Shenandoah was pretty good. If you think that they will send in the King DDD to start things off, you send in the Pac-Man. You had that lead to start. You need to make your changes accordingly elsewhere unless you truly believe that someone else can do the same thing and Pac-Man is needed somewhere else.
Yeah, we've got a lot to talk about, right? We've got a lot to talk about because we are going to set number 3 in a best of 3, Shenandoah University against Florida International University. This series has delivered on all fronts. We knew this would be close. It absolutely has been. But after 2 sets, we are going to take a quick little break. So don't go anywhere. We're going to get a quick word from the school, and we will be back to cover set 3 when the players are ready.
Shenandoah University is a big little university rising.
With 22 Division III sports teams, over 200 areas of study,
over 300 annual performances, an elite academic esports program,
nationally ranked health professions programs, one of the biggest university presences on Broadway,
immersive AR and VR learning programs,
cybersecurity and computer science programs, and innovative undergrad and graduate programs.
all at a place that cares for you.
Shenandoah University is the big little university rising. Find out more at su.edu/rising.
We have the Esports Arena right here on campus in Winchester, Virginia, and this facility acts as the hub for all esports activity at Shenandoah University. Students are able to use this space not just for competition and practices, but also as a living learning community and a sandbox for them to come and explore and practice and try out things related to and through esports in the gaming industry so that they're getting that hands-on learning and the skills necessary to help them find a career by the time they graduate. We also have the professional level broadcast production booth where we do all of our broadcasting and production, from casting of our games that we play right here on campus to working with outside entities to record footage for them as well. In addition to the space that we have here in the Esports Arena is the Esports War Room. Our students get to use that space for studying, but also outside projects. So our students get to use this space for professional development and the academic side of our esports program, which is such a critical component to go with that competitive element that we have. So we combine all of our facilities at Shenandoah University with competition, community, and career preparation. We have over 250 days of programming, and there's something for everybody, and we want you to be part of it.
Welcome back, everybody. We certainly hope that you have had an opportunity to recoup a little bit, right? Recover from what we all just watched, because we watched FIU go toe-to-toe with SU and tie set 1, set 2, split. Both ways, we're going to set number 3 in this best-of-3 series.
Crazy stuff so far, Chris. We witnessed a beautiful opener from Shenandoah University, able to find the win with a significant 2 to 3 stock lead in the first round. The next round, we saw great adaptations from FIU to then find a solid line, a solid approach to getting a even score, 1-1. And now it's kind of in Shenandoah's court. How do you change the gameplay? Do you find yourself sending in Kipp for a third time, or are you trying to save him for someone else?
That's the million-dollar question, isn't it? I mean, so what set number 2 came down to, in my opinion, was that first matchup, right? Just the fact that FIU was able to send in King DDD, a player who got, 1 stock off Willy in the first set, to go in and take 2 stocks off Kipp and then save the Wolf that then put in some serious work on the rest of SU's roster, was an absolute game changer. And that's the effect of sending in one of your best players first, right? These two teams are extremely similar in that it seems to be that they have the heaviest hitters as bookends on their squad, right? Wolf goes in first, Pac-Man goes in first, Mario goes in last, Kazuya Terry goes in last for SU. Well, now all of that needs to be flipped on its head because we've seen both strategies work out for both teams, right? And it's the one that's adapting that's coming out on top. So how do you adapt the third time around, right? Both of these teams have been through some major changes. What do you do when both teams are expected to change?
Let's talk value here for a second, Chris, because I think that this will answer your question. When you're going into a crew battle, obviously you want the 3 stocks. If you can get more, that's great. Well, can you guarantee matchups where you are going to have that beautiful 3 stock value for as little as possible? Can you get that maximum value? And I think the answer would be to get players who are not earning those 3 stocks into more comfortable situations. But sure enough, we are going to hop into game, and we will see a situation where Kipp will be saved for later. It is Igloo on the Yoshi going in first.
Okay, how about it? Both teams pulling their starters, right? Pulling their openers and putting them in reserve, right? Knowing the value, you put it, that these players bring to the team cannot be wasted on potentially surprising starts. And so FIU making decision to try to pull out the Pac-Man first, and SU saying, you know what, we don't want that matchup anymore. We're not going to risk it after how it went last time. So King Botan now forced to try to deal with Stone Cold Igloo once again, and we see the matchup preference. It certainly looks like this was the hope for SU by sending out Igloo first, that they would get put into the King DDD, and sure enough, here we are. 133% on the DDD so far, but without many hits landed in return, Igloo still at 71% of his own.
Yeah, and I have to say this matchup, while yes, is looking very good for Igloo so far, it doesn't take away from the fact that Igloo is sitting at 84%. A King DDD hit, 1 solid back air will take this Dino back to the Stone Age. It is crazy just how much this matchup can swing back and forth. Igloo does find this first stock, but it's going to be on him to get as much value on each of these. Otherwise, you'll have situations like this where Igloo's the one caught in disadvantage.
Yeah, man, the back air does land, and not enough to finish the job is kind of surprising. Now 140% up on the Dinosaur. You said it yourself, gets caught, grabbed. King DDD can't quite kill off that. So we see the percentage start to climb, right? Igloo finds his way back onto stage and finding these up air trains. Good Lord, carrying King DDD all the way up to the very tippy top of the screen. Not quite into the blast zone though, and now again, percentage racking up tick by tick. And 94%, the forward air into forward smash connects from center stage and sends King Dedede all the way to his demise. 2-stock advantage for Igloo, and now you gotta be careful. You gotta take care of this first stock from Igloo, before he runs away with a 3-stock to open this.
Yeah, and this is the sort of situation you wanted to avoid. When you play a heavyweight, you do have the disadvantage of your moves being so incredibly slow in the disadvantage, which means that while King Dedede tried to throw out a back air off of the Yoshi forward air connecting, Igloo was able to throw out a forward smash, and it was faster, which is crazy to think about.
Look at this interaction with the eggs and the Gordos. It one-shots them, and not only one-shots their momentum, it launches it back at King Dedede. This King Dedede hasn't been able to get many Gordos out. Look at that. The textbook way to deal, oh no, okay, excuse me, with the space has been to throw out these Gordos and try to occupy space where King Dedede can't quite get to. Well, now Yoshi clearly has a tried and true way to deal with that, and 180% King Dedede struggling to find his way through this one stock, and Igloo looks like he's in such a rhythm right now.
Yeah, Igloo has every intention of trying to hold on to this stock. King Dedede trying to call out an air dodge, but instead Igloo playing cool, calm, and collected finds a way back onto main stage, but taking a jump off, trying to get a little bit more value. Dedede going for the nair on the landing, doesn't get anything to connect. Igloo willing to play it slow, throws out a couple more eggs, a very safe move on shield, will be able to find a little bit more damage. Dedede feeling the pressure to back off, does find the forward air to close the stock off of Igloo, which means that now this last up air will connect, but the Dedede did find his opportunity for the one.
Okay, crisis averted, kind of, for Florida International, right? We were dangerously close, and dangerously with a capital D, dangerously close to catastrophe for FIU to start set number 3. They are able to claw back and steal one stock off of Igloo, but you have to think that adaptations that were made for SU went exactly according to plan, right? You have to think, based off the matchup preference we saw on the side of the screen when that started, that that's exactly what SU was hoping for, and they do get their value off of it.
Yeah, the word of this series is going to be value. You will hear both Chris and I talk about it just about every round, and this is why you have a situation where you send in Igloo, who is able to secure a 3-stock and only taking one off of his own. That does mean that now that value is a little bit depreciated, but you still have that lead and the value of Kipp in the back. We are going to have to see who they are saving that matchup for. I have my thoughts, and I think there's a very strong answer for them trying to save Kipp for the Wolf, but I don't know. There's a lot of definitely shaky parts of that matchup.
That's exactly what I was thinking, honestly, because if you think about it, okay, you've drawn the Yoshi out. We saw Wolf look extremely commanding against this Yoshi. So in my opinion, the Wolf needs to come out now, and it will. So now, on paper, right, or at least according to the history we've seen throughout this series, we expect Wolf to take care of business without too much trouble here. Where does that leave you? Maybe one stock down on the Wolf, maybe none, who's to say? But where did we see this Wolf go even with somebody? It was Kipp, it was Pac-Man at the start of set number 1. So who knows, maybe that is the long-term goal for SU, only time will tell. But now, Igloo with an awesome opportunity to try and build a lead for the rest of his team. 2 stocks left and a lot of smash to work with, and boy, oh boy, is Igloo asserting himself right now.
Yeah, Igloo's doing an amazing job of getting a good amount of percentage early, but Wolf, showing off that movement, was able to dash around the Yoshi down B and get some great damage going. Does find a couple of eggs to the face. Wolf going for the get-up attack, trying to call out Igloo, getting close, but goes for a jump air dodge approach to get off the ledge, which does work out and is going to be sitting at 135. While it may seem like he's in a very dangerous spot, this is also incredibly valuable for Wolf because of that rage. It will be very easy for Wolf to secure these stocks a little earlier unless Igloo can find that final hit.
Yeah, man, that final hit is the name of the game, man. Oh, the up B not able to kill Igloo. Wolf just trying to recover, and Igloo gets caught a little too aggressive. But now, high percentages both ways, right? The up smash does come out, and it would certainly kill if it lands. I do think that wow, that has to have been a misinput. I don't think I've ever seen Igloo use that move intentionally, but able to bail out without too much trouble. The up smash does scoop in from so far horizontally, and wow, right down from the platform. The up air will connect, and boom, one stock for one stock is a dream scenario for Igloo under these circumstances.
Man, I love the meta that has been developing over the years. We just saw a footstool upbeat combo come out of this Wolf as a guarantee hit and was able to drag Yoshi into the disadvantage close to the edge of the stage. Beautiful stuff here from Sure Hyper, but you do want to find this last opportunity to try and close out this stock against Igloo. If you take the 2 in exchange for 1, you are finding your opportunity to even things out for FIU. And that is exactly what you want, again, if you are behind in stocks. We're going to talk again about value, Chris. Wolf just did a 1-for-1 trade. But we've seen that this player averages more than the value would seem. That means that now, going into this, who do you send in to deal with this Wolf and minimize that value? We could see Willy again. We could see Willy go up against this Wolf on the Terry, where we have seen a 2-stock, 3-stock scenario. It could play out like that, and Willy would then be able to get that momentum going forward. Or you could send in AyeJay. AyeJay would be able to slow down the pace of that matchup if you think that he could find that spot. Maybe it's FarRhombus. Or we go back on the point that we said before the Wolf was even sent in. Who is Kipp being saved for?
The $1 million question, right? I mean, okay, so again, I kind of walked through this before that matchup, and I think this was thought out. Okay, we're gonna send Avery or Igloo in first. Igloo needs to take care of business pretty commandingly, which he did, to draw out the Wolf for Kipp, right? I think the most success we've seen against this Wolf was the Pac-Man. Now, we all just saw what Kevin did right next to me. Kevin just got visibly, noticeably nervous. Why is that? Well, it's because we can see more information than you can, and I'm going to stop teasing you with it. We did just see that Shenandoah is sending out Willy second, and not only is it Willy second, it's Willy on the Kazuya. I did have this in the back of my mind. Is the catalyst Shenandoah needs a switch back to Kazuya? Something that this FIU team has not had to deal with yet? I don't know. Is this the matchup maybe that forces Kazuya out?
This is scary, Chris. Every time this scary demon man shows up on the screen, I can't help but get a little worried. And it's not only because we're talking about a character that is so mechanically intense in a high-stress situation, but also this Wolf's game plan is going to have to change in response to Kazuya. He plays so aggressive, he plays so snowbally, but we're talking about a character that wants you in his face 24/7. If this Wolf does not start playing patient, we may see a problem.
Yeah, now look at the matchup preference again. I'm going to direct your attention over there as often as I can. This does seem to be potentially what SU had drawn up during the break, right? How do we orchestrate it that we can get every matchup we want as we see fit? Well, so far it is going SU's way. Now, the matchup predictor, or the matchup preference, certainly seems strong. However, Wolf coming out very strong and commanding quite a start here off of Willy. But, I mean, in all of the time we've spent casting Willy, casting this Kazuya in particular, we know that it does not take much for him to take stocks at just about any percent.
Yeah, we do see Wolf going for the down air on the tech situation, able to connect the back air. And again, I do think while this Wolf is a very aggressive player, we are seeing a bit more of that patient side, but not too much. We are seeing him still getting real close to this Kazuya, which means that one good uppercut to the face means that Kazuya will find a stock. Willy is going to secure one for himself. But at the same time, Wolf, getting hit on these jump-ins, has been doing a great job of sort of dancing around the setups that Willy has been going for. But I do think that this may be what Shenandoah needed to sort of stop the momentum of Sure Hyper.
Yeah, again, right as it looked like Willy was maybe starting to get on the back foot, right as it looked like Sure Hyper was starting to find the momentum he needed to put Willy away, boom, 3 hits and Sure Hyper's dead from like 40%, right? These percentages are just deceptive when Kazuya's on the stage, and it's exactly for that reason. Wow, the kill button won't quite do its namesake, and 117% on the Wolf means that it's not enough to knock him out. What does he do with that remaining stock? He is able to take the back air straight to Willy's face, and we have now 2 stocks off the Scary Demon Man. The grab does connect. Wow, might have been able to survive that, but not enough one way or another. Sure Hyper is off the screen, and Willy remains on your screen.
2 stocks for 2 stocks. Shenandoah with a lead of 1 at the moment. We are starting to see FIU try and claw back that momentum, but at what cost? One of your strongest performers so far has been taken out in exchange for Shenandoah's, and they are still in the game on a character that is very scary.
Yeah, especially scary again. Like, it takes an incredible amount of skill, patience, fundamentals, everything to deal with a strong Kazuya player. And I don't mean, please listen to when I say this, I don't mean to downplay any of FIU's roster, but against less experienced players, against less strong players, Kazuya can absolutely run away and overwhelm you before you even know that you're in the game with him. So it might take putting the Mario in now to put the fire out and give FIU a shot. Do you have confidence in your whole roster to take this 1 stock off Willy before he gets an insane amount of extra credit? I guess so. The only people that can answer that question are the people in the Florida International room right now.
Yeah, you have a couple of options here from what we have seen so far. A Pokemon trainer, a Greninja, and this Mario player. And there's an argument for all 3. Mario is, hands down, without a question, a force to be reckoned with, and can sort of tango with Kazuya if done properly. It's not easy, but this player definitely has the skill to do it. On the other side of that, you have Pokemon Trainer. Pokemon Trainer's Squirtle against Kazuya can be very problematic. Yeah. You have these sort of small hitboxes. You could be using that withdrawal side special to just really rack up that damage over time. And if Kazuya tries to electric it, I just bounce and go the other way. Or you send in this Greninja, combo heavy, able to play this sort of weird aerial game, maybe zone out with a couple shurikens. There's an argument for all 3. But you have to secure the stock and even things out. Otherwise, this value so far is going to fall back into Shenandoah's favor, and that's not what you need at this point.
Not at all. And I want to bounce something super quick off you. There is a Sheik in reserve. Is that enough to come out for the first time? Is that matchup overwhelming to a Kazuya or a Jigglypuff, or like?
There's a part of me that says no, Chris. There's a part of me that thinks that it shouldn't be the case. And yet, I see from production that it will be.
I did not mean that. Or like I didn't expect that.
And it could just be me. It could just be my knowledge with Sheik being that this character in good hands can perform, but I'd argue it's not going to be easy. Kazuya's heavy.
Yeah.
And I have seen players, like Sheik is a very combo-heavy character, will get crazy long strings and all that stuff, but I will see heavyweight characters live up to like 200% if they are very aware of what Sheik does to take stocks. Your back airs, your little side B, like Deku Nut explosion thing.
Yeah.
Like, those can take those. I'm positive maybe this Sheik has something going. But for now, I don't know. I don't know if this is the answer.
Okay, well, we'll see if it's the answer, right? Willy, with an opportunity, right, with the lead, can play a little bit aggressive, but not too aggressive because you would, if you're SU, you would like to come away with probably at least a stock here. And this is exactly where Kazuya thrives. 62% just like that. Again, at the moment you think that Kazuya is on the back foot, it takes about 2 to 3 hits, and they're all confirmed into each other to even the game in the blink of an eye.
Yeah, and another factor that I hadn't talked about, Chris, we saw the Sheik get up from the stage using the forward air. Yes, it's a great get off stage option, but I will also say you are dealing with a character with super armor, and that is not a strong move. It does a good amount of damage, but not enough to break that armor, as we see Willy connect the electric into the up special. Sheik is sent off stage. Will they go for another get up off the ledge? We do see a jump, and Willy is able to get the up special with the Rage Art online, Chris. This is going to be a lot of damage. Breaks out of the grab, but it's not going to be enough this time around. We do see Willy able to grab the ledge. The Deku Nut not being able to connect this time around. Sheik doing a good job of dancing around Willy's game plan for these first couple of hits. But Willy has done what he needs to do. The 3 stocks are in hand. We do see the needle set up into the forward air. Kazuya sitting at 155%, and the Sheik able to find the down smash to close things out.
Okay, well, extra credit secured, right? 1 stock is still a pretty big deal for SU, but now, again, the $1 million question. I've said that 3 times now because it keeps coming up. Who is SU saving Pac-Man for? I'm sure they weren't exactly drawing up that the Sheik would come in 3rd, and boy, have we got the answer for that, right? I can't bring myself to believe that that was the game plan, but is now the time that we see the Pac God descend, or are we saving for this Mario? I'm not sure, but either way, Willy completes his job, right? Ensures that he takes 3 stocks, gets rid of the wolf, which I think was really the only game plan there, and maybe a little bit of extra credit if he gets it, cool. But match the wolf and come out on top. Now SU, again, with the advantage, has a decision to make.
I know I am downplaying Sheik like every sentence I say, and I'm sorry for the people at home, but I do not see how Sheik deals with the Pac-Man matchup. How many hits? We see people very deliberately try to get as few hits on a fire hydrant as possible to get it out of the way. Sheik needs at least 4.
Yeah.
Like, and maybe you have the needle set up. Okay, I'm going to charge my needles. That entire time Pac-Man is charging up any fruit in that arsenal. I don't know. I'm sorry that I am a Sheik doubter, and if you can prove me wrong, Puff Boy, please do it. But, like, I don't know. It's rough.
I'm cheating a little bit. I did look ahead of our production. I'm sure they'll show you once we get in a game. But the matchup preference for Kipp, if we see Kipp, does look pretty good into Sheik, right? Clearly, Kipp agrees with you. So is that the decision, right? Do you risk sending Kipp out now to try to take out the Sheik and then get whatever extra credit he can for the Mario and then send in presumably FarRhombus again? Or, I don't know, maybe AyeJay, right? Last set made me think that maybe AyeJay is the answer to the Mario. I don't know, right? But for now, the decision ahead of us, the hill that needs to be climbed before anything else matters, is Kipp is in the game. Matchup preference as good as it can be. Kevin, Kipp does in fact agree with you, and we'll see if he's able to prove why that is.
Yeah, I mean, this is going to be the start of something truly insane. Sheik finding great opportunities to rack up some damage on this Pac-Man as we are sitting on Kalos, a very good down air, able to secure a solid amount of damage. The Deku Nut into the forward smash combo does not break shield, but did a lot of shield damage, potentially looking for a poke of some sort. We do see Sheik caught jumping, getting hit by the fire hydrant. Means that the percentages are starting to even up just a little bit from both sides. But again, when it comes to securing stocks, I'd put my money on the Pac.
Absolutely, yeah. Now, projectiles coming out for Kipp as he just looks to control the stage, right? We are back onto Kalos here as now this is a very wide stage, big blast zones, weird platforms, right? This is the Pac-Man pick. And we'll see if the setups are able to amount to much. The hydrant lands 128%. The bell off the platform, just barely off screen. Sheik was not able to get around it. And now again, Kipp just maintaining the center of the stage, keeping Sheik all the way out on the outskirts at all times. It's so overwhelming to get in on these projectiles, in on these bells, and Kipp is showing exactly why that is.
Yeah, Kipp playing a character that isn't necessarily a light one. We're talking about a character that can survive off stage for incredibly long periods of time. Eating a down smash doesn't even send Kipp into the off-screen parts of the blast zone. I mean, it's going to be difficult for the Sheik to find these final hits, and that lead is going to fall fast. You need to be careful in these sorts of situations. Sheik looking to be the aggressor on the situation, but even the down smash on the fire hydrant wasn't enough, Chris. I do think that this is the call-out that Shenandoah needed, saving the Pac-Man for something else in reserve to secure that value, and I think that this was the opportunity needed.
Well, here we are, right? Can Kipp close this out and go 6 stocks into the Mario? Who's to say, right? Kipp is in full control right now with an opportunity to put this Sheik away. Puff Boy now up to 100% on his last stock. Kipp up to 140%. That would sting a lot if FIU is not able to capitalize on it. But it's going to take everything this Sheik has, and going up high, the up air will finish the job, claiming that 160-something%, finally finding its value, and 1 stock will be taken off Kipp before he presumably finishes the job here.
Yeah, we do see Kipp getting these setups online, using the fire hydrant bounces to secure another fruit, trying to look for the bell setup. Does get a throw out, but it doesn't do too much this time around. Sheik sitting at 150 at the moment. Any fruit at this point may be able to take the stock. Sheik using the up B to secure a spot back on stage, and a Pac-Man back air from the left side of the screen sends Sheik flying to the right. Shenandoah secures the value it needs and now has a 2-stock lead over FIU.
I can't think of the triple version of this has been a tale of 2 halves, right? What do you say when it's so different every time except there's been 3 instead of 2? Well, basically, set 1, SU had the advantage going into the end, right? They had their options still ahead of them when it came to dealing with the Mario, and that was enough for FarRhombus to go in and take 2 stocks off of FIU's best player, and then Shenandoah was able to take care of business and finish the job. Well, set 2, the difference was Shenandoah did not have that luxury, right? And it went all the way back to the start of that series. A lot of things went different, but ultimately, SU was on the back foot going into FIU's best player. Well, now we're back to square one. We're back to where SU found success and where FIU was unable to close out. Can Dominator go in and bounce back? Can he change this narrative? That's the question. But with 5 stocks ahead of him and 2 of them being on Shenandoah's arguably best player, right? Day in and day out, who's to say? But 5 stocks, right, was the order for SU last time for AyeJay. Wasn't able to complete it. Now the ball's on the other side of the court, right? Can FIU go take care of 5 stocks, or will SU walk out on top?
And I'm wondering, we saw the Mario player opt not to anchor last series. We may see the Pokemon trainer here tonight.
That's true.
And try to send out potentially the Ivy Sword to deal with those projectiles. I don't know. That Squirtle is very strong, but such a liability when you're in the anchor position and you lose stocks so quickly. There's an argument for both, Chris, and I don't know which one FIU will choose. There's solid reasoning. Whether or not you want to try and play a projectile game against Pac-Man, or you want to send in this Mario and try to use your up air spike, like, combo strings to try and potentially snowball it, I don't know. There's a spot for that too. It's hard to say.
Yeah, this is the beauty of competition, right? There's never a clear-cut right answer, and it ultimately comes down to preference of the people in the room, right? Who's in that arena? Who is sitting at that setup over at FIU, and what do they believe? Because at the end of the day, none of what we say matters if it doesn't apply to what's in the heads of FIU. Now, I can't help but laugh because an interesting, for lack of a better word, decision has been made for FIU. Dominator is the final player we will see for... Oh, excuse me. I'm just being pranked by our production team.
Well,
okay.
Dominator is the Mario.
Yeah.
It's just they had Duck Hunt on the screen.
Yeah, okay. I got baited by our preview. Okay, well, back to square one, right? I started to lead you on a road that does not exist. We are back exactly where we thought, right? 5 stocks ahead of Dominator on the Mario. Can he take care of business, or will Shenandoah be able to close this out how they drew it up?
Yeah, we do see Mario able to get a couple of good hits using those combo strings to really get this damage rolling on the Pac-Man. But we are seeing that Kipp actually doesn't prefer this matchup, and I think part of the reason is this advantage St. Mario has. It's very hard for Kipp to find his opportunities back on the stage. Mario using the up special to potentially clip Kipp and get a little bit more value going, but I don't know. It could be the cape that is going to offer a lot of value for Dominator here. It's a matter of personal preference, as we do see Mario standing back, trying to sit in this very nice spot where Kipp can't throw the bell in that burst range. Mario doing a good job getting the down throw into the back air, securing a solid amount of percent onto Kipp. Does get the grab, goes for the back throw. Is it enough? It is. Not even a dock back throw. It's the classic plumber, and it still closes a stock.
Yeah, you could tell that was the exact plan for Mario from the start, right? He went all the way to the ledge, caught Kipp on the neutral getup. Whoa! What a setup, what a call out! The bell going to the hydrant and blown all the way across the stage, setting up a perfect stun for Kipp to go and get an easy forward smash, capitalize. 1 stock down off the final player for FIU. Kipp going in and getting the value he needs so far to set up the rest of the SU squad, and Kipp has an opportunity to go and get more.
Yeah, a very nice setup to secure that first stock. Mario has been doing a great job of dancing around Kipp's game plan so far, but a very shocking surprise from the bell means that Mario was stunned in place and loses the stock because of it. Another up B out of shield, Chris. Keep that in mind as we go forward, as a hard read on that move could be incredibly detrimental, as we see Kipp go into Mario's face. The flood pushing the bell away. Maybe that's the interaction that Kipp does not like with this matchup, being able to send the fruit back away. It may not be the reflector, but it does mean that whatever crazy setups this Pac-Man sets, it will not work out this time around.
Yeah, we've seen, I think, Kipp and Dominator are aware of that bell interaction. We've seen it a couple times where Kipp runs at Mario with the bell in his hand, and where we usually see Kipp throw that, he's just dropping it and immediately shielding, because I think both times it's happened, Flood has come out. So I do think you're right. Kipp is aware of that interaction and very cautious of it. Now, we'll see if that's able to close either of these stocks, but wow!
The water!
The hydrant pushes Kipp into the up smash. A tragic interaction by Kipp's own ally, the fire hydrant, will put that away, but not without, again, getting his value, right? 1 stock off the Mario, and now we see it on your screen, our screen. FarRhombus in the hot seat, on the setup, tasked with taking care of 2 stocks.
Yeah, this is a lot of pressure that is building on a player who is relatively new to Shenandoah Smash Bros. Scene. We did see how well this matchup worked out for FarRhombus the previous time around. Does Mario have the opportunity? Dominator was very deliberate about his adaptations the last time we saw this matchup. Does he still have that muscle memory built in? Does he have those reads, those callouts necessary to keep that advantage going? Or are we going to see a repeat? Because if we do, that means it's a Shenandoah victory.
Yeah, we shall see, right? This Mario player is clearly very adept at picking up on habits, adaptations, making mid-game adaptations, and applying them where appropriate, right? So this matchup has been played once. Dominator does have one matchup or one game of this matchup under his belt, right? That's something that can be said that did not apply the first time these two players met, right? So will he be ready to deal with FarRhombus' Jigglypuff, or will Shenandoah walk out of here with a win, right? This is it, Kevin. Last player, 3 stocks to 2 stocks, Shenandoah to FIU to settle it. Here we go.
And Mario already using Flood to keep Jigglypuff in the air, trying to get rid of as many jumps as possible. FarRhombus, on the other hand, trying to play this patient game, using the pound to get a couple of good hits in. But we are seeing a lot of moves thrown out from both sides. Clearly, the pressure is building to just try and take up space, trying to hit these last couple of moments. But for now, Mario's momentum is the one working out so far. Going for a aggressive forward air spike, trying to throw out the forward smash as well. It won't work out either of these times. FarRhombus doing a great job of playing patient, trying to play back and get a Mario reaction where we can see even more value out of this buff.
Yeah, avoiding the smash attacks, right? He did take a lot of percentage there, and 110% is almost certainly enough that any smash attack would finish the job, and sure enough, Jigglypuff does lose their first stock. FarRhombus taking a second to take a breath, right? Settle back in. 36% on the Mario. Can FarRhombus find his way in, keep dancing around these smash attacks? He did a great job there in the first stock of not eating too many of them, because Dominator did throw quite a few out, but ultimately one was enough.
Yeah, we do see the Jigglypuff jump able to get out of these Mario combos and opting to try and get these back airs to connect, but Mario doing a good job playing very deliberate with these combo starters, going for the down tilts into the up airs and trying to once again call out this puff on these approaches. But FarRhombus playing the patient game, playing far back, does find a couple of good hits, tries to go off stage, but Mario a very good reaction, able to get the up special as both players are starting to sit at about the same percentage.
Yeah, so the big difference maker for FarRhombus, or how he was able to capitalize on stocks in the first matchup, was that he was able to chase Mario so far off stage. Again, adaptation number 1, right, that we're seeing the value from. Dominator was ready for FarRhombus to go off stage and try to hit him even further off, but not enough there, and the back air off the ledge will finish the job. FarRhombus down to his last stock and very close to taking this one first stock off the Mario. This could go down to 1 stock for 1 stock. Mario goes low, and Jigglypuff is ready for it. We are down to 1 stock, 1 stock.
Yeah, Mario Dominator has had a great option so far to these games, has been doing a great job of keeping this damage rolling on this Jigglypuff, but Jigglypuff is the type of character who can very quickly turn it around, but you need to find your opening. It's been very hard for FarRhombus to find that final hit, and because of that, Mario takes 1 extra step forward to secure that forward smash this time around.
Yeah, an unfortunate break there for SU, just unable to finish the job, and FIU does come out on top, going all the way to set number 3 after going down in set 1, losing that in a very close fashion, but sticking to their guns, plant their feet in the ground, and go the distance. Florida International comes out on top.
And it was a beautiful matchup from the start. We saw great adaptations from both sides, but when it came down to it, the more knowledge you have going into any given matchup will decide what pays off. And this time around, the Mario did keep an eye on the information he had the last time around and was very deliberate about zoning off this Jigglypuff, preventing any extra hits by throwing out these forward smashes, getting FarRhombus to have to sit back, not go for anything extra. And then in the last situation where FarRhombus had been in these safe spots, Mario very deliberately takes an extra step forward so that it does connect this time around.
Yeah, so it's enough to hand Shenandoah their first loss of the season, dropping to 1-1, and I believe their first loss since
the start of last semester.
Yeah, the first regular season loss since the start of last semester. So SU forced to go back to the drawing board, right? Try to find a reasonable answer by next week, but we'll see if they're able to do it, right? We know this team can bounce back from pretty devastating losses we saw last semester, right? Dropping their first 2 games of their NECC bracket and coming all the way back to win it. So certainly nothing to panic about. If you're going to drop games, you'd like it to be early in the season. So here we are.
And that's what it needs to be. We've seen Shenandoah's players, when they are in this situation before, they don't roll over. They come back swinging. They come back fighting. And this is no exception. I look forward to seeing what Shenandoah's roster will be doing going forward, because this isn't the end of that story. It will be beautiful what they cook up going forward, and I'm really excited for it.
Yeah, I'm excited for it too. I'm not sure if we'll hear from the players, but I do want to say that I believe the Academy team also won their series, so congratulations to them, right? Academy does walk out with a win. Rocket League also competing today. If you were here for the start of the show, they were on our schedule, right? We had 3 different games in the arena here tonight, and I'm being told that Rocket League was able to reverse sweep their series. So congratulations to them. An awesome day here in the arena nonetheless, although Varsity Smash Bros. Does fall just short. But that will do it for us. Be sure to drop us a follow on whatever platform you are watching on right now so you don't miss out on any of the Shenandoah action going forward, and you can watch this team bounce back next time they are on stream. But with all that said, be a friend, tell a friend something nice. It might just change their life, and we will see you next time.
Shenandoah University is a big little university rising.
With 22 Division III sports teams, over 200 areas of study,
Over 300 annual performances, an elite academic esports program,
Nationally ranked health professions programs, one of the biggest university presences on Broadway.
immersive AR and VR learning programs,
Cybersecurity and computer science programs, and innovative undergrad and graduate programs.
all at a place that cares for you.
Shenandoah University is the big little university rising. Find out more at su.edu/rising.
We have the Esports Arena right here on campus in Winchester, Virginia, and this facility acts as the hub for all esports activity at Shenandoah University. Students are able to use this space not just for competition and practices, but also as a living learning community and a sandbox for them to come and explore and practice and try out things related to and through esports in the gaming industry, so that they're getting that hands-on learning and the skills necessary to help them find a career by the time they graduate. We also have the professional level broadcast production booth, where we do all of our broadcasting and production, from casting of our games that we play right here on campus to working with outside entities to record footage for them as well. In addition to the space that we have here in the Esports Arena is the Esports War Room. Our students get to use that space for studying, but also outside projects. So our students get to use this space for professional development and the academic side of our esports program, which is such a critical component to go with that competitive element that we have. So we combine all of our facilities at Shenandoah University with competition, community, and career preparation. We have over 250 days of programming, and there's something for everybody, and we want you to be part of it.
FIU squad has some heavy hitters, but we're not 100% sure if we'll see them today.
Yeah, it feels as though when you go into these sorts of matchups against a team who has a very solid 50-50 sort of win-loss record, you can't help but feel a little worried. You know, understandably, any wins on either side is going to feel good, but usually when you see win records like that, it's because they have players or characters that tend to be a little bit problematic. It'll be interesting to see how they do this fester up against Shenandoah, who has had a very strong start, a little bit worrying with what we saw the last time with the
Highlight of last week for Shenandoah was certainly this man on your screen. I mean, if you didn't get to tune into this, this was an all-time moment on this stream. 23 stocks taken for Kipp on the Pac-Man through 2 sets, and I'm no mathematician, but there's only 24 possible stocks to take in a series that only goes to 2 sets. So Kipp knocking it out of the park, absolutely smashing it, and frankly carrying this team last week.
Yeah, if you're asking if Kipp was able to find a chiropractor, I do believe we found someone to help deal with his back problems.
Great.
But frankly, he should still be doing a lot of work going forward, including tonight.
We do have some fun stuff here with this team, right? I believe one of your friends is on this team, a DDD player. Are you going to try to match up somewhere in there and try to have a little 3-stock on 3-stock action with one of your buddies?
That would be pretty fun to go over. I'm not sure we'll actually get to meet each other, like in terms of like matchups. I'm not sure, but it would be pretty fun to play him.
Oh, for sure. That would be awesome. A little bragging rights at the end of the day for whoever wins that one out.
I'm sorry, I got a little bit excited there that Kipp might have been able to sort of gimmick a stock off of him, but nonetheless, 150% on Sure Hyper here. And
we're seeing Sure Hyper throw out a lot of back airs at the moment. I mean, just about any of them will be able to take the stock, but if Kipp can sort of maneuver, he might
already through. No stocks have been taken, but through this matchup so far, I feel like we've seen 2 different players out of Willy, right? He started very patient. Wow! What a call out there! The Power Geyser all the way from the stage, catching the jump and taking care of business. Man, okay, I didn't even get to finish my point. I felt like Willy started so strong and playing patient. It felt like he was...
Maybe the difficult part for this Greninja. You're talking about Terry Bogard here, but when you can grab on reaction like that, what in the world?
We threat, right? Willy now has those 2 extra moves we talked about last series, and we might see one here soon, Kev.
Yeah, we did see a moment there where this Greninja player connected. A lot of smash attacks were thrown out, but because it was so close to the center of the stage, Willy guarantees the go percent and does not go down, getting now a down smash to connect.
Yet, right? We haven't seen Greninja be able to really string together combos that find kills, right? We saw the down smash. Oh, wow, the dash attack just kills off the top, and Willy takes out another player, lost only 1 stock in the process. So, Shenandoah, moving, grooving, how you doing? Keep it moving. We're going to player number 3 for FIU.
Great comboers with Terry, or DDD's ledge setups are insane. While Terry has a couple of good ways to get back onto the stage, that doesn't mean anything crazy direction. So it may have been the stick back situation. Either way, that was an input instead of just like a weird glitch of the game. He was just keeping Terry off stage. That didn't mean that the DDD was not able to just secure some good hits.
This King Botan, doing a great job of avoiding damage where he can, but just not quite avoiding enough, right? 130% will mean that one will absolutely confirm, and Willy finds his way with 1 stock remaining onto FIU's final player.
Quick back airs and keep Willy off stage.
Yeah, keep an eye out for that dash attack on Mario 2. That does have a pretty obnoxious 2-frame hitbox. The fireball off the platform, catching Willy in the air, stalling him for just long enough that Mario can find the back air and finish the job. No spike needed, and Dominator on his way so far. Trying to find his way, though, right? None of that matters if stocks are not taken. We saw the story of the day. Wow, I don't think Mario... Oh, wow, he probably could have made it back.
Let me go on the platform. Let me reset my jumps. We will play this game as long as I need to.
Yeah, I don't know if the mic is picking it up. I'm sitting here just sort of chuckling in awe. Find many hits. Now, of course, right as I start to say that, FarRhombus does take quite a bit of damage there to sort of even this out, but the forward smash connects, and FarRhombus goes the distance once again, chasing Dominator off stage and finishing business. Now, man, not for long, right? Dominator does find one more player in reserve. This is great positioning for Shenandoah.
Yeah, but we do see an amazing Mario combo starting things off with the down air, able to secure the stock, sending FarRhombus off the top. A beautiful string coming up.
That Yoshi as a character could recover from that deep, but Igloo knows it best, right? This Yoshi is going to try to make its presence felt, but a forward smash off the ledge
later on as Mario has to go very low to get back onto the stage. The egg does not connect just yet, but an up smash from Igloo catches Mario, letting go of shield just a little too early as he's able to secure the stock.
That's a bad man. Ooh, every time we see him, he takes care of business, right? Igloo is stone cold at 2. Ultimately, works out, right? Does Shenandoah opt to stay with this, or maybe revert back to comfort in what we usually see Willy going in last to maybe try to deal with the Mario. Maybe Willy doesn't like the Mario matchup, and Shenandoah is making an aggressive decision to try to just take care of business on the front end. Who knows, right? And it's exciting to see the players out there talking and really, game planning, seeing what they feel needs to change versus what we think needs to change back here. Word, right? The key graphic. Nothing matters more than what's on the left side of your screen right now. Kipp loves this matchup, right? And we see, wow, hitbox, right? We know that can catch you on the ledge. I think it's a 2-frame, right? It doesn't catch you under the ledge, right?
It can.
Really? Okay.
Yeah, it can do both. But,
I have to think that FIU made a decision that if somebody's going to take care of this Pac-Man, we don't want it to be the Wolf or the, oh my lord!
Photon definitely is in Kipp's head just a little bit. The amount of time that he was holding on to that orange was almost a level of unnecessary.
Kipp seems to have sort of settled it in. Oh no! The bell gets reflected right back at him. Kipp forced to roll, but he does find enough time to get behind DDD and get the forward smash. Kipp comes out on top in the bragging rights heavyweight matchup, but not without losing 2 stocks along the way. If you're Florida International, you have to think that is not a bad outcome. I do wonder how much the reflector is in Kipp's head right now. We did see, oh wow, Kipp caught jumping and the up smash does connect. Kipp will go down and stocks are tied once again, but this time around, FIU, the one to bring it back to even instead of Shenandoah, and now Shenandoah does get the option of who they want to deal with the Wolf.
On go is just going to be so overwhelming against Wolf that it will become a non-factor in this 3-stock to 3-stock situation. Oh, crazy spot.
Okay, so we did not get to see any of the go meter there because promptly as Willy hit 100%, he lost it. So racking up percentage in a neutral position, but high percentages now both ways. You have to think that Willy wants to find this kill while he still has the go meter, but the up smash scoops all the way.
Chris, that Buster Wolf connects on everyone else in this roster.
Wow!
Another call out, another spot dodge called out by Willy. Very beautiful way to get back control. It would have been very easy for Willy to lose momentum there as the Wolf jumps all the way up for the back air. Crazy stuff.
Okay, 74% on the 1 remaining stock from this Wolf, and we'll see if Igloo's able to clean it out, finish it off without losing one of his own, but the plays back, waits for Igloo to try to come to him, but Igloo can sit here all day, right? He knows his matchup, he knows that he doesn't love it, and wow, does get
Instead, now we are looking for this final hit. Igloo going for the forward airs, trying to potentially combo it. Instead, gets another roll read. Not only off of what we saw with Willy earlier, but another roll read from Igloo just now.
Weird dichotomy, a weird, fundamental aspect of Pokemon Trainer that this character covers so much ground between the 3 Pokemon.
Whoa!
But wow,
you see Charizard going for the platform, going for the forward air, trying to sit back. Does get the grab beneath the platform, which will be enough to close out the stock. A very dangerous position to be in, but
early, but good patience there out of Exiva to try to capitalize on a few missteps out of AyeJay. Now percentage racking up. The reflector does come out to try to get a little quirky, but
as we can see the pressure sort of building and sticking on the Squirtle. As we see the Falco forward air connect, it won't be able to secure it, but when you swap Pokemon
off the ledge and might have put AyeJay in a dire position, but does not connect, right? Thing of the past. And wow! AyeJay goes up top and finds the back air. Well done, well executed, and now 2 stocks to 3 stocks. AyeJay going into Mario to make it back to the ledge, and we're back on to this relatively neutral state, right? Both of these players just trying to control the stage, and so far, Dominator doing a great job of maintaining. Falco going up high, can't quite finish the job, and now the percentage is traded all the way back. The down B does not quite kill AyeJay yet, so the forward smash, but will absolutely finish the job. Unfortunate finish there for AyeJay and SU going down in set number 2, and we've got a tied series. We are going the distance.
Solid back air will take this Dino back to the Stone Age. It is crazy just how much this matchup can swing back and forth.
Up to the very tippy top of the screen, not quite into the blast zone though, and now again, percentage racking up tick by tick, 94%.
Get anything to connect. Igloo willing to play it slow, throws out a couple more eggs. A very safe move on shield. Will be able to find a little bit more damage. DDD feeling the pressure to back off. Does find stock off of Igloo, which means that now this last up air will connect, but the DDD did find his opportunity for the one.
Okay, crisis averted, kind of, for Florida International, right? We were dangerously close, and dangerously with a capital D, dangerously close to catastrophe for FIU to start set number 3. Wow, that has to have been a misinput. I don't think I've ever seen Igloo use that move intentionally, but able to bail out without too much trouble. The up smash does scoop in from so far horizontally, and wow, right down from the platform. The up air will connect, and
Last opportunity to try and close out this stock against Igloo. If you take the 2 in exchange for 1, you are finding your opportunity to even things out for FIU. And that is exactly what you want, again, if you are behind in stocks.
Willy casting this Kazuya in particular, we know that it does not take much for him to take stocks at just about any percent.
Yeah, we do see Wolf going for the down player. We are seeing a bit more of that patient side, but not too much. We are seeing him still getting real close to this Kazuya, which means that one good
stage, and it's exactly for that reason. Wow, the kill button won't quite do its namesake, and 117% on with that remaining stock. He is able to take the back air straight to Willy's face, and we have now 2 stocks off the Scary Demon Man. The grab does connect. Wow, might have been able to survive that, but not enough one way or another. Sure Hyper is off the screen, and Willy remains on your screen.
Willy connect the electric into the up special. Sheik is sent off stage. Will they go for another get up off the ledge? We do see a jump, and Willy in hand. We do see the needle set up into the forward air. Kazuya sitting at 155%, and the Sheik able to find the down smash to close things out.
Okay, well, extra credit secured, right? 1 stock is still a pretty big deal for SU, but now, again, the $1 million question. I've said that 3 times now because it keeps coming up. Who is SU saving Pac-Man for? The bell off the platform, just barely off screen. Sheik was not able to get around it, and now again, Kipp just maintaining this 140%. That would sting a lot if FIU is not able to capitalize on it, but it's going to take everything this Sheik has and going up high.
May be able to take the stock. Sheik using the upbeat to secure a spot back on stage, and a Pac-Man back air from the left side of the screen sends Sheik flying to the right. Shenandoah secures the value it needs and now has a 2-stock lead over FIU. Mario doing a good job getting the down throw into the back air, securing a solid amount of percent onto Kipp. Does get the grab, goes for the back throw. Is it enough?
You can tell that was the exact plan for Mario from the start, right? He went all the way to the ledge, caught Kipp on the neutral getup. Whoa! What a set! Cautious of it. Now, we'll see if that's able to close either of these stocks, but wow!
The water!
The hydrant pushes Kipp into the up smash. A tragic interaction by Kipp's own ally. The fire hydrant will put that away, but not without, again, getting his value, right? 1 stock off the Mario, and now we see it on your screen, our screen.
Even more value out of this buff.
Yeah, avoiding the smash attacks, right? It did take a lot of percentage there, and 110% is almost certainly enough that any smash attack would finish. Seeing the value from Dominator was ready for FarRhombus to go off stage and try to hit him even further off, but not enough there, and the back air very close to taking this 1 first stock off the Mario. This could go down to 1 stock for 1 stock. Mario goes low and Jigglypuff
around, but you need to find your opening. It's been very hard for FarRhombus to find that final hit, and because of that, Mario takes 1 extra step forward to secure that forward smash this time around.
Yeah, an unfortunate break there for SU, just unable to finish the job, and FIU does come out on top, going all the way to set number 3 after going down in set 1, losing that in a very close fashion, but sticking to their guns, plant their feet in the ground, and go the distance. Florida International comes out on top.
Players, when they are in this situation before, they don't roll over. They come back swinging. They come back fighting. And this is no exception. I look forward to seeing what Shenandoah's roster will be doing going forward, because this isn't the end of that story. It will be beautiful what they cook up going forward, and I'm really excited for it.
That will do it for us. Be sure to drop us a follow on whatever platform you are watching on right now so you don't miss out on any of the Shenandoah action going forward, and you can watch this team bounce back next time they are on stream. But with all that said, be a friend, tell a friend something nice. It might just change their life, and we will see you next time.